Y'all know what it is. MZ Talks Boxing.
Let me make this abundantly clear. We talk about boxing here. My opinion is winning, but if you ain't feeling no good on your boxing, yeah. This mental headshot sting. So do these body blows that I bring. You wanted the big step to the ring. Let's go to the toe to the final bell ring. MZ Talks Boxing. Yeah.
What's good? What's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of MZ Talks Boxing. Wait a minute, are we sure? Are we on? Are we live? Yeah, we good. So now that we're here, you know how we do. We start off letting everybody know what it is to be looking for and how we expect this show to go. And we plan on touching on Benavidez versus Garcia at 154 pounds. We're going to touch on that. It's October month for the Spence and Crawford fight. Is that the month? Because the way things are starting to shake, that's what's popping up the most. And before anybody say, oh, he just repeating what the YouTubers are saying, no, I'm actually I got that from somebody else. So we'll see how that go. And that's somebody else or somebody that's real credible. I'm going to say their name because y'all should have saw it too. We use facts over feelings. You know what I'm saying? Facts over fictions. F your feelings. If it comes down to telling the truth and your feelings get hurt, let's go ahead and go with the facts. Forget the feelings. Other than that, I'm going to sit back, wait for the family to start popping in. Oh, Gil Cole's in the house. He say, salute OG. And I'm saying salute right back at you. Hey, man. How you doing today? What's been going on? Hope everything is tight with you and your family. I can't wait till this Spence and Crawford fight come to fruition. So I can be ready to see what pops off. He says salute to Master Rod. Gil Coles, I want to ask you, you know what I'm saying? Let you know what we're going to be talking about. We're going to be talking about Garcia against Benavidez Jr. at 154 pounds. And what's your take on it? I like to get your take on it kind of early before I start diving into it when the rest of the brothers get here. Ooh, he say fresh off a 4-day vacation. Man, I'm just not getting my first day off because my job been having me coming in. They've been taking my off days away from me, having me come in early every day. So, but I ain't tripping. I'm making that money. So that's all I can say. I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun. I got something that I can do something with my messed up arm. So it's a plus. But a 4-day vacation, I feel you fresh off of it. What did you do? Did you go fishing or something? Gator hunting? Let us know what you did in the chat. Just to touch on things, I'm listening to Danny Garcia talking about how he feels a lot better at 154 pounds, how he thinks he's going to be stronger, how he don't have to squeeze down to make 140 or 147. He specifically said it that way. But who I say fighting again? I'm talking about Danny Garcia and Jose Benavidez Jr. at 154. You know, that I'm talking about that. I'm talking about the the fight for Spencer and Crawford. I believe is going to take place in October because the Brian Custer interview. Salute to social scientists in the house. Danny Garcia and oh man, I forgot to put let me open the door for social scientists, man. I forgot to put the key in the backyard, dog. So you can come on in. But I'm dropping the key right now. So you can come on in and kick it. I don't know what I was thinking about. Anyway, yeah. We're going to talk about is October, the month for Spence and Crawford. And do I get to throw some beans at people? while we talk about it, Gil Cole say, out in Orlando, sitting poolside. That sounds real nice. That sounds real nice. My brother Obese invited me over to his crib to sit pool in the pool in the backyard and work on some music. What's up, social scientist? How you doing tonight?
What's happening, fam? I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
Man, I'm doing lovely. I got me something rolled up. I'm sipping on a glass of wine. You know how I go. And ready to talk about some boxing and what's popping off in it.
You got the scene set over there.
Yeah, you know how I go. I got the head of scene set. Oh yeah, and I talked to Obese. Yeah, we gonna definitely talk to you on some music tip. Matter of fact, I got a hook that I wouldn't mind for you to jump on or see what you think about it. I'm gonna shoot that to you after the show tonight.
All right, man. You know I'm always down.
Yeah, yeah. So I was just letting everybody know, getting the rigmarole out the way from the beginning of the show, that about Danny Garcia and Jose Jr. Benavidez Jr. About their fight coming up at 154. How both camps are talking about how they really need this fight. This is a must-win fight and everything like that because, in my opinion, they auditioning for 154 pounds. They got to look good. They have to look good because it's a lot of good fighters at 154 pounds. So for them to jump up in there and not look good, that's going to turn a lot of eyes, in my opinion, away from them.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm trying to think, Danny at 147 pounds was just, I wouldn't say he was a great fighter. I'd say he was good. He was a good fighter. But when it came to facing the top guys, he lost.
He was a gatekeeper.
I guess you could pretty much say that. I guess his best times were at 140 pounds. Right. And watching him in the interview with Brian Custer, that's what gives me this Brian Custer. I will say that for a second. With him and his dad and Benavidez Jr. and his dad, they were being interviewed not by Brian Custer, but what's the Hispanic looking guy name?
Mark Ortega or whatever.
Yeah, him. They was doing a little interview with each other, and both camps were adamant about how well they had to do and how they needed this fight and all this kind of stuff. They also hyping up the fact that it's Puerto Rico versus Mexico and things like that. So they playing those cards. But I'm thinking it is more than that because, Danny was talking about how he had a hard time losing weight. Dropping down, he was squeezing, as he put it, to make 147. And then it sound, if I'm remembering correctly, I want to say close to the right numbers, but I think they said that this boy was walking around at like 180 pounds and dropping weight. So I'm like, dang, Danny gets that big, 180 pounds is your walk around weight.
I think that's just a lack of discipline because Danny is not no big guy. So for him to be getting up that high, that's just he wasn't staying in shape. That ain't got nothing to do with like his natural size.
Right. Okay, so I can take that him not being disciplined. He do seem like he have a lot of fun. When you do see him doing stuff on social media, he look like he be living his life and enjoying himself. But he said some key things, and one of the things I want to point out, he was talking about. He spoke about Earl Spence, and he was like, his dad was like, made a statement about, the so-called top guys at 147, they're supposed to be moving up to 154. We're going to be there waiting for them. And that kind of struck a chord to me because I'm like, could Danny be trying to set himself up to get him some big fights right out the gate? And it looked like he's trying to get in there and get acclimated to 154 pounds and then be waiting for these guys as they come up and try to be their first challenge. Now, it could look great if he beat them, but it could look horrible if he loses.
Mm-hmm. Talking about to Benavidez?
No, I'm talking about this would be his acclimating fight, I would think. You know what I'm saying? Seeing if he used to wait with Benavidez, but Danny Garcia was saying this to the interviewer when he was saying, him and his dad was saying, Danny made it a point. He was like, he kind of think he won the fight, and then he said that Then he said that the only him and Earl landed the same amount of power shots. Which if that's true, is
I
true.
hold on, man. I don't want to interrupt you, but look at Ozymandias' comment. Should we block him or you want to address him?
2 white boxes. I've heard this said online. Explain yourself. What is he talking about?
He
Dang,
said
we
you
ain't even.
racist. You racist to white boxers. He heard this said online. What should
Oh,
we block this clown?
yeah,
Cause like what?
we can go. We can go ahead and shoot the slugs at him. Because first of all, we ain't even mentioned nothing about no 2 white boxes. So be quiet. Get his ass right up out of here. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know if you want to address that. Anyway, yeah.
No, it's nothing to address. I don't waste my time with people running up in here talking about nothing like that. Where were we? Danny Garcia was saying that he felt like he really wanted to fight. The only difference in the fight was the jab, and that goes without saying. Okay, if the only difference was in the fight was the jab, why couldn't you do something about it? Why couldn't you get around the jab to make the fight look more compatible? Because when it comes down to it, you let a jab hold you out the game and shut you down.
Right.
So that right there, it just doesn't make sense to me in no kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. Listening to what Danny talking about.
Well, the thing is, Danny ain't never been no elite boxer, so I mean, he ain't got a whole lot of head movement in the first place. So if you got a great jab, you can catch Danny. So plus Danny is not as strong as Earl. So I mean, Earl got that piston like Jay got a real strong jab. So Danny really didn't have no way to get around it. He not stronger than him, and he don't move his head too well. He not a person with a lot of movement at all. Anyway, he just kind of sit there and wait on you and try to catch you, try to counter you. So that's just. I think even Keith Thurman said that one time that he never been in the ring with somebody who would just sit there and wait for you and just not do nothing unless you move. Like he never been in there with nobody who would wait that much for you to make a move. So that's just Danny. He gonna sit there and wait. And Errol don't really make a whole lot of mistakes. The capital, well, he does make a lot of mistakes, but he he not doing nothing that Danny would be able to capitalize off of. So.
Yeah, which brings us to the point. Who do you think Danny can really deal with at 154 pounds? Who's there?
Nobody. I think his ass might get beat by Benavidez.
I'm thinking so too. I'm thinking that too. And then I'm looking at Gil Coles. He always seems to be at the wrong end of the spectrum. But he said he might have to take Danny over Jose Benavidez. I
he
don't
my
know.
he my man in the whole 50 grand, but I'm had to disagree with that one, man, because my man Daddy, he ain't beat nobody elite at welterweight. He was in there with some decent fighters, but he always got beat. And the people that he beat, a lot of them was smaller guys coming up from 140. So Daddy was like a 140 pounder at 147 for the most part. So now he's talking about going up to 154. This shit just sounds stupid to me for Danny Garcia to be going up to. He didn't really he didn't really conduct himself like a true 147 pounder when he was at 147. So at 154, I mean, he got zero action, in my opinion. I mean, I feel like low level motherfuckers at 154 shut him down.
Now, also in that interview, it came to light that Benavidez Jr. was offered a fight with Laura. And he said, his reasoning for picking Danny was he was like, I grew up watching Danny. Danny was like one of my favorite fighters. So I can see where he going with his, I'm gonna fight my favorite fighter, my hero when it comes to fighting. So this is a name that I can see him looking at as being better than Laura, because he literally said Danny's name was bigger than Laura's as far as he was concerned.
Well, I got another view on that. Benavidez got a bomb leg, right? Danny
Yeah,
don't
I
move
know.
a whole lot. Laura moves all the time. So like fighting somebody like Laura, that's almost a joke to me. Like that almost sounds like somebody hit him on April Fools and asked him, "Do he want to fight Laura?" Because I'm like, that would be be a stupid fight for him to take. And being that he got a fucked up leg.
Uh, it almost bothers me to see it, but is Benavidez Jr. the one with the messed up leg that Crawford beat?
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, see, But okay, I can see. I can see where they go. But he still got in the ring, and since he got in the ring, he got his ass whooped. That he knew what was wrong with him. He knew he wasn't mobile. He knew he was gonna get tagged a lot. Crawford did what he was supposed to do, got him out of there.
Yeah,
But
Crawford didn't do a lot of moving on him either. Crawford stood in front of him. So
okay, so he kind of like called himself kind of evening out the playing field by
yeah,
by dancing right in front of him. Okay, I give him points for that.
yeah, he got hit a lot, but he stayed in front of him.
That's not good though. That's not good. But I'm
Yeah.
not gonna get on Crawford right now. This is all about Danny and Benavidez Jr. And I honestly, what was Benavidez Jr. What weight class was he in?
He was at 147. He was like the top ranked Golden Goose before Crawford came along. That was like part of their beef.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because I don't recall him fighting nobody, none of the top guys at 147.
Yeah, I mean he had that little accident and all that before he could really take off. But yeah, he was supposed to be that guy.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, because I was trying to figure out what made him move up to call himself moving up to 154. Because in all likelihood, I don't really rank him like that either in 154. I just don't see any fights that people are gonna be like, oh, this is an interesting fight. I want to see it. Most of the names that I think that's gonna get thrown at him, we're gonna be like, he gonna get beat. He gonna get beat. It's that type of dance for them. So I'm not really seeing what it is that them and their camps are claiming to see and how they're going into 154 because I'm like, dude, it's some mass competition at 154.
Right. And he's a big guy as it is though. Benavidez, the only weight class. Well, never mind. He started at 140. I didn't even realize he started. But yeah, but he's like his brother. Big for the weight class, tall.
Well, I don't know how that's gonna translate with a bum knee and running around at 154 pounds. Cause those guys fight different styles. You got some that come straight to you and stand in front of you. You got some that box you, and you got the undefeated the I can't undisputed. You got the undisputed champion sitting up there, and it looked like he ready to take on all comers.
I mean, he'll run through Benavidez, I believe.
I
Oh,
think he'll run through Danny Garcia too.
oh, of course. I mean, like that's a given. Danny Garcia is a one. To me, he's just a 140 pounder, man. Like I don't even see him as a real welterweight.
I really didn't look at him either because I was like, dude, you haven't beat anybody at the top at 147.
Nope. And
But at
like I said,
140, he was doing.
he kept bringing up 140 pounders to beat at 140. Adrian Granado's like, man, what is this?
I guess he could say that, hey, I just happened to be here, and when they moved up, they wanted to fight me, so I obliged them. It
Right.
could be that all day.
But see,
Salute to Trey X. My bad, let me jump in there and say salute to Trey X. He said salute, salute. He hollering to Gil Coles, Bruce, Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. Salute. Fam, what's going on? So y'all hit that thumbs up when y'all come in. But
but see, I believe them cat shows will fight him because he the weakest one. If I was coming up from 140 and I wanted a big name, I would go with Danny Garcia because he like the weakest one out of all of them. The weakest big name at 147.
that makes sense. That
I
makes
don't even
sense.
understand why he a big name for real. I mean, I guess it's because of who he done fought, but he ain't really did shit at 147.
You know how it go. People get excited about what's going on. He does have a nice Mexican following. As he put it, all Latinos love him and come out
Okay.
to see when Danny Garcia come out, be it Puerto Rican, Mexican, Argentinian. They all love him. This is what he said, and this is what he was saying in the interview when he was talking that noise. Him and his dad was making statements as if, to me, how I read it, like we're gonna be waiting for Earl Spence if he come up or Terrence Crawford, because the little slight that he made about the so-called top guys at 147, when they move up, we're gonna be here. And I'm like, dude, This makes no sense at all. You actually didn't beat any of the top guys. All the top guys beat you. I'm thinking, and this is just me spitballing, you left 147 because if you wait around, the top guys is talking about moving up. Yeah, they'll move up, but then you got a bunch of young talent that's coming up that don't look like they playing no games. And I don't really think if you let them keep building on their careers right now and you sitting around at 147, I don't think your chances of beating them is all that great. And I'm talking about the what is it, the Stanionis guy, Boots, and the other guy that's supposed to be real good. I don't see him beating none of those guys either.
No, ain't no.
So he running up. I'm like, dude, you running up to where it's a whole bunch of more sharks in the water. You finna try to put yourself in there, swim around, and wait for the new sharks to come up. Either way, you're about to get eaten up. I don't see Danny Garcia really doing too much of anything more in boxing at these higher weight classes.
Yeah, man, this shit just, I mean, the whole him moving up, this shit just look like a little PBC sideshow to me. Like, I'm just, he ain't gonna do nothing at no damn 154. He one of them dudes that boxes a side hustle. Him and Chris Colbert hang together, and Chris Colbert out here, you know, he got little chicken restaurants and getting knocked out, and Danny Garcia trying to do real estate and rap on the side. Man, these dudes, man, they ain't serious. These, not,
I
these are
thought
like
he had a barber shop or something.
that too, you know, whatever. I guess he box when he get a little time, but it to me it's showing his performances. Like,
Well, I'm thinking that he better go ahead and start working on his commentating because right now he put himself in my opinion to be what you said, a straight up gatekeeper. To just sit there and try to be the limit. Oh, this is killing me. To be excuse me, bro. Give me a second.
salute to the chat. What up, Trey X, Bruce Goes, Gil Coles?
Okay, I'm back.
Okay,
My bad. I damn near coughed up a whole lung.
Rodney Allen up in there.
Oh yeah, that's Master Rod right there.
Oh, okay.
That's Master Rod. He having a couple of issues, but he doing all right. You know, he holding strong.
That's
Well, so I guess it's safe to say, and I'm not speaking for you, but I'm thinking that I might go with Trey is talking about getting dope. Whoa, hold on there. I'm thinking that I might be putting my pick on Benavidez to beat Garcia.
yeah. Now, gotta keep in mind, Benavidez didn't look good in his last fight, but he say he coming motivated. He like
But
drew with
Danny didn't
something.
look good in his last fight.
His
Oh, that's
last
right.
fight was Spence.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, and something that I was thinking about watching some of the old fights. A lot of times people when they judge the fight, they be caught up in the fight, and the reason they some fights might end up being judged, like you a hard boxing fan, you looking at the fight, you looking hard at things that's going on. How did he slip? Did he make him miss on the inside? Did he score on the inside? You know, but for casual people like, you know, my daughter, she like boxing, she's really getting into it. But some of my other family members, if the combination don't look sweet, it's about the memory of whose performance of that round stuck in their mind. And I think that's what some of these judges do.
Mhm.
They just look at it and be like, oh, he looking good doing that. Might not be doing much of anything, but you know, I think some of these judges is making judgments on these fights like that and giving us some messed up calls. But I understand what you're saying, but I still think right now, you know, I haven't written it in ink yet, but right now I'm thinking that Benavidez is going to beat Danny Garcia because, you know, I hear you saying Benavidez didn't look good in his last fight, but neither did Garcia.
Right.
Garcia looked like a sitting duck. He was just out there plotting around, pretty much waiting for Spence to bring the fight to him, and that didn't work out for him at all because, as he said, you know, we landed the same amount of power shots, but Spence had a jab that was more busier. Like, dude, but you couldn't figure out how to get around the jab. You didn't have any footwork to match Spence's or anything like that. And Brian Custer, they still on Garcia. He had mentioned that Danny had beat Terrence Crawford twice in the amateurs. Danny did correct him and say we fought twice, but we went 1-1. And he made the statement, but I think I won the second fight too. These are just his words that I heard him state. And doing that interview with Brian Custer mentioned Spence and Crawford fighting in October.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was a slip because he knows something or anything like that, but I'm starting to see a lot of these YouTubers are saying, they sources and stuff like this. October is the date, the month. October is the month. And the only reason I'm speaking on it because I literally heard Brian Custer let it come out of his mouth. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I wouldn't give it any legitimacy at all. I wouldn't even speak on it. But since Custer spoke on it with his bald head self, I figured, hey, this might be the thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Might have let it slip.
It's possible, and if so, then shoot, I'm prepared for October to come on through. Somebody might be looking like a goblin or a ghoul come October 31st, because I think they saying October 29th or 30th, one of those 2 days. It might be. Which one makes the most sense? Let me pull my calendar up and see which one makes the most sense, because I think they said October the 29th. It will be the 29th. Either the 15th, 22nd, or the 29th. Or the 8th. Could be the 8th. Or the 1st, because that's on a Saturday too. All those days on the Saturday. 1, 8, 15, 22, 29. If Brian Custer let it slip out, we could be looking for that fight to be on one of those days. And I'm just going by what I heard him say in that interview. Now, he didn't speak on how he beat Crawford or how Crawford beat him. But I would have liked to have heard him elaborate on that a little more. I really didn't pay attention to what his pick was or who he thought was going to win, but I did. He did speak on Earl being the bigger welterweight between him and Crawford. He did say that Earl was a little stronger than him and Crawford, and these are all of his opinions, I'm guessing, because he did fight them both, but at two different times in their careers. Amateurs and pros is not the same at all.
That man can't speak on Crawford at this point.
Right, that's what I'm saying. He can't really speak on it. So he was just giving it his views of what he thought like anybody would do. I dealt with Crawford in the amateurs. How much more different can he be? He could be a lot more different. He could be a lot stronger, a little quicker, a little faster, have a little better gas tank, hitting a little harder. All those things could be taking place now between the amateurs and now. I'm pretty sure they are. Mm-hmm. But when it comes down to it, I'm just waiting to see what's going to happen with him at 154, because my mind keeps jumping to that. I keep trying to speak on Crawford and Spence, but I can't get over the fact that Danny Garcia and his dad, his dad is very outspoken. They talking that noise again, like they was doing when Earl was when they was getting ready to fight Earl, and he went out there and got dominated by the jab.
Wait, what kind of noise they talk?
How his daddy talks. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, he sent this subliminal shot telling all the so-called top guys at 147 that's supposed to be moving up. Well, we only heard about two top guys that's supposed to be moving up. Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. Those are the only two guys that we heard, talking about moving up. So him saying that, he got to be talking about them.
Right.
So you want to get your son beat up again. Maybe Danny getting ready to cash out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People might need to call the abusive hotline and let them know, hey, Danny Garcia, dad is getting him abused. He out here talking noise to the wrong fighters. Then they get in the ring and whooping him, just embarrassing him, because it's embarrassing to lose just by a jab. And you're supposed to be a top guy.
Yeah, this guy ain't got nothing for Earl or Bud.
I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Because, it's not often that I hear a Crawford fan give Earl any kind of props. But you're one of the real ones.
Man, I think Earl is a good fighter. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? You one of the real ones. And I think Crawford is a good fighter. You know, I'm gonna return the sentiments and everything, but you know, I am on your level as being a gentleman in this hostile world that we live in right now. So Gil Coles, I'm gonna go and throw it up there. He said Keith beat Earl in the amateurs. I don't know nothing about
It's
that.
the same amateur.
You know, Gil Cole might be just tripping. Because I thought Keith was a pro when Earl was running around in the amateurs and doing his thing.
Yeah, because you know Earl, he was born in 1990, 2015. He was
Right,
15 years old.
right. So, what gives? Okay, let me see. So today, I'm at work, right? This is just off of boxing real quick. I'm at work. For those that don't know, I have moved my job to being inside a convenience store. I'm working overnight, and this young man pulls up in a nice little car, and he comes in, and he start looking for what he's looking for, and the truck rolls through the parking lot, scopes the scene out, and leaves. Tell me why when this dude's standing up at the register, man, they come back and just start unloading this man's car, just dumping, bah, 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 busting like it's the Wild Wild West.
Oh shit!
I look at him, he looking at me, and then I say, they shooting up your car.
And
He
he's just looking
literally,
at you while they shooting up his car.
yeah, he was looking at me because, we was having a little conversation, getting a little banter going on, just having a conversation while I'm counting out his money.
Okay.
And this shit was like in the movies, for real. It was like something written out straight out of a movie. They start shooting. And I said, hey, man, don't go outside. And he started going. First, he grabbed his case of soda. And then he started going out the door. Bussing.
Okay.
I'm like, whoa. So I politely locked the door. And I'm watching like it's a TV show. It's like crazy. And then he finished.
Like it's the wire and shit.
Yeah, cause he busting at the other vehicle that shot up his car, and it drove off and disappeared. And he got in his shit and just drove off like everything was everything in another direction.
Well, damn.
Come to find out that somebody was in the car and they lost their life. Once it got reported on the news and everything.
Oh, okay.
And, it was I was like, wow.
Damn.
Craziest thing. And for me to say earlier that night, I had spoken and said, man, this is like one of the best nights I had all week. Because I had been getting called in early and struggling with my coworkers because people just, they having issues that they bring into work. And I really don't be caring about that. But, I was like, this is one of the best nights ever. And 2 hours after I made that statement, the motherfucker had turned into a war zone.
So the dude, okay, they started shooting at his car, and he was just kind of chilling right there. Like, did he not notice they were shooting at his car?
That's the strange thing. When they start busting, it's like I could see them busting. He looking at me. It's like he could hear it, but he don't really realize is that it's right outside.
Oh, that is his car. Okay.
Yeah, so when I turn around and look at him, I'm like, dude, they shooting up your car. And it's like you could see it just, the realization came on him. But he grabbed his stuff. This is what messed me up. He grabbed his stuff off the counter. I still got his change in his hands. I'm like, hey, don't go outside. Don't go outside. He go outside. And when I got ready to push the door open and say, dude, come back in, he pulled out his firearm and started busting. I was like, okay, you out there. Let me go ahead and close the door, lock the door.
Damn.
And it was just crazy. It was crazy. My boss was like, oh my gosh. She was doing her female thing. Now, she say she gangster. But she was a little shook because, when I looked up from locking the door, she wasn't nowhere to be seen. Her ass was in the back of the back of the building, calling me, talking about, are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm locking the door. As soon as I get back there, we just hear like a whole bunch of busting. Like the 2 guns that we heard at first, but it sounded like another one was joined in, and it just sounded crazy, man. It was busting. And then, you know, a couple of hours later, I read a news report that was talking about the exact same thing. And that's when I found out that somebody was in the front seat of his car. Because I couldn't understand, why would people pull up and start busting at an empty car?
Right.
But I'm glad that he was inside. You know, I'm glad he was inside the store, because it could have been him too.
Yeah.
And then I would have had to been waiting till the people came and moved bodies and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, it popped off right here, and I don't really know what happened except that little bit. I don't know what they was driving. I don't know what color they was driving. I don't know none of that. I just know that, you know, some stuff happened, and that was that.
Yeah, I wonder if they was like looking for the person who was in the car, or if they was just shooting up his car because it was his car.
I don't know, because the way it drove in and looked and then drove out, I was like, dang, that was crazy. They just drove up in here all fast like that and then bust out. And then they showed right back up. And it was on. Pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop. Hey, dude, they shooting up your car. Grab this stuff. This is why I say it looked like a movie, because if you finna go outside and start returning fire, do you pick up a case of soda?
That man needed that soda.
I'm just saying, he picked up a case of soda, some Newports. I had his change. I was trying to give it to him because he had bought some gas, but he didn't get the gas. He forgot the gas. But he did not forget those sodas and that cigarettes. And then he came out, you know, he drew down and started busting back at the vehicle that was busting in his vehicle. I'm like, I'm looking at it like in amazement, because I'm like, you don't see this every day.
Right. Oh,
You
yeah.
know, where I'm from in Gary, Indiana, you can see it, but I hadn't been home in a long time. So my daily dosage of violence had been toned down quite well. You know, I was on a real slim diet of violence, but last night made me have a remembrance. It took me back some years. I was like literally standing there like, you know, it didn't bother me like you would think it should. You know, my boss was shook for a minute, and I can understand why. And after she got her little bearings back, and she was like, let me go out here and see if they shot up my car. But let me go get my purse first. I'm like, what you going to get your purse for? Oh, you know, she gonna have her to say, you know, I ain't new to this. I'm like, just 30 seconds ago, your ass couldn't even hardly talk.
Right.
Your nerves were destroyed. Don't come out here being gangster now.
Yeah, a lot of people say they gangster.
Till it's time to be gangster.
Right.
Then you find out that you done ran up in a situation with somebody that you don't want to be in that situation with. No backup at all.
Yeah. That's a wild story.
It's the truth, man. That happened this morning. Made me late coming home because the police closed off both ways of the parking lot. You couldn't get in or out. They wasn't letting customers come in, and they wasn't letting me and my boss leave. I'm like, ain't this a bitch?
They didn't question y'all or nothing?
They asked some questions, but, you know, I don't know nothing.
Yeah.
I don't know nothing, because I don't want them to fuck around and report and say, we found out this, and the motherfucker be like, oh, they up there talking, they snitching.
Right.
Come back up to that motherfucking draw bullet hole words all through the windows, because I'm tall, and it ain't a whole bunch of shit to hide behind when the motherfucker busting through the windows at you. It's just, I'm too old for that shit.
Right.
So no, it ain't like we don't know nothing. I don't know him. I know he wanted some cigarettes and some soda. Whoever it was violating him. He wasn't violating nobody because he was in the store buying some stuff. So
Right.
they started it, whoever they was, but I don't know who they are.
Maybe they finished it for all we know, but shit.
Well, yeah, they could have finished it too, but they could have finished it. Why they ain't finished it before they got here? You know what I'm saying? Y'all messing up everything, but that's what happened, man. That's what happened. Treg says, I'm going back to the chat because, you know, I'm just, my mind going to this violence, these people out here just being crazy. But I got a rush from it. You know, I felt pretty good this morning when I came home. I was like, everybody else like, man, why you should have got out the way and moved around. Or, you know, my boss was really on me. But I was like, dude, they wasn't shooting at me.
They done
All
made you feel alive up in there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, they wasn't shooting at me. I can literally see it, what they were shooting at. You know, they were shooting directly at that car. It was no way that none of those bullets was going to come my way. He was shooting, going away from me directly at that car. They wasn't returning fire. They was trying to get the hell on. So me getting shot was, it was no chance of that.
Boy.
Maybe a 0.9% chance, but, nothing serious. The aggression and anger was all aimed specifically at certain things. One guy's anger or woman's anger was aimed strictly at the car, and the owner of the car's anger was aimed strictly at the people who was angry at his vehicle. So Trey X, magic moments in boxing history. Spence and Crawford fans getting along. This is true. You are a Crawford fan, and I am a Spence fan. But there's no need for us to throw rocks at each other. We've been friends for quite some time now, before we realized that you had crossed the line and blurred things by going over there to the Crawford camp.
I've been on the Crawford side, man.
Yeah, but you hid it so well.
I wasn't hiding. I guess y'all just wasn't asking.
Oh, that's what it is. We have to let you know. Hey, who you riding with?
Hey,
Go ahead.
I'm just not a loud Crawford fan. That's all.
I feel you. Because we do have some loud Crawford fans and some loud Spence fans.
Yeah.
You see, let me see. Trey X said, at least he was smart enough to drive off in the opposite direction. I don't know how smart he was on the cool, Trey. He went out there and started busting back with a case of soda up under his arms.
That's some, what you call that?
Menace to Society or something.
Yeah, Menace to Society. That's the movie I was trying to think of.
Yeah, he really did that.
Some old dog shit.
And now that I'm talking about it, I feel so bad that I'm like, this is how you know I'm not adapted to this era. I didn't pull my phone out and start recording.
Right.
I could have had video for y'all.
Right.
I am so sorry that my skills are not up to par. Forgive me.
Could have been a viral live stream, man.
Could have been. But now I guess all y'all got is the story that I tell. But I guess I could find the article and post it up so you guys can read it and see what it was that I saw, or at least read some of what it was that I saw and what it equaled up to. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy night because I was having a great night. Nothing was going on, and my week was rough already because every day I was getting called in early, an hour early, 2 hours early. One day I was called in like 4 hours early. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting overtime. I ain't tripping. So tonight early this morning, I hit my brothers up and was like, dude, I'm having a great night. This is like the best night I've had all night. I'm ahead on my paperwork, everything looking good, down to this and yada that. The boss came in extra early so I can get off early, to get home because I have been missing time. And all of a sudden, the fourth customer of the night, the new day, had drama attached to him.
Damn.
Had drama attached to him. And then, when the police showed up, they was cool. They was asking questions and stuff like that. But this one cop gave me this eerie ass feeling because she comes through and she spoke on a body up the road. And she was like, yeah, y'all just witnessed that. And the way she said it was like it was like a matter of fact kind of tone with a condescension to it. And the way she grinned and looked, because, she was not of our persuasion, it just didn't feel right the way she said it. And I'm not accusing her or anything like that. I'm just saying in that moment right there how I felt when she made that statement. And when she made the statement, I can't lie to you, it kind of hurt me because she said, yeah, the guy's up there dead. And I was like, man, I hope he didn't try to follow them and get himself killed. So it really, for a hot brief like that, it kind of bothered me because I was like, he probably wouldn't have ran out there if I didn't say, dude, they shooting up your car.
Mm-hmm.
But since I said that, he went out there and start busting back. And now I'm like, did he turn around and follow him and they got him? I don't know. But it did hurt me for a hot brief second because I was like, damn, this is some bullshit. And it really turned into bullshit when they taped off the parking lot. It was like, oh, you can't leave yet because we don't want you to run over none of the shell casings. I'm like, oh, man.
Man, Gil Cole got me cracking up, man. He said Trey X would have been calling the shootout.
Oh, hold up, man. Let me just jump in the chat thing. He said, okay,
they shoot up his car.
Wow.
He come back with some. He got the peps on his arm. Trey X would have been going off.
Taking the pause, getting him some water, hydrating, and going right back at it. Wow. Now, you over there reading the comments. Put me in on the thing. Why don't you go ahead and read them out loud so everybody can laugh? Because I don't even know where you at.
Nah, this at the end right here.
So I could, okay. Oh, what's up to our sister Armin Brown 09? She in the house. Glad to see you come through.
The cops called it off. Who's the boss?
Boy, that was a perfect one right there. The cops called it off. Who's the boss? He come out the store. He got old school behind him. He starts busting. Bop, 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 bop.
Shot his motherfucking ass.
Got him right riding out the parking lot. Man, that's a good one, Gil Cole's way to brighten up tonight with that because these dudes here was tripping. Who is that say let me just jump in right here. Gil Cole say, me and my wife, father, and mother-in-law went to a range in Orlando yesterday. Well, see, where I'm at, they don't want us to have no weapons and nothing. But I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start having. I can't, man, because it was. But like I said, the aggression wasn't aimed at me. It was just like unfurling of something to write about. I could put it in a song. I can turn that into a hot song.
The shit was a movie for you.
Yeah, it was. It was a movie. And if I had to rate it, I'll put Denzel in it and Samuel L. Jackson for sure. And I was just sitting there, we was having the conversation because the dude was like, oh, gee, I forgot what I came in here for. I said, well, you're going to figure it out. And, he went back there and started grabbing the stuff. The thing that just sticks out the biggest to me is that when I said they shooting up your car, it like, dude, and he looked, but he grabbed that case of soda. He didn't even take his change from me, dude. He just grabbed his soda and went out there, started busting, put his stuff in the car and drove off.
Damn. How much change you have?
$4.
Oh, damn.
He asked for 10 on the pump. The case of soda was like, and a pack of Newports. He brought a pack of Newports, which is like 87, and then $8.07, and then the rest to make. And he gave me a 20, so he spent $16. Nah, he spent more. He gave me 30. But his change was because he gave me a 20 and a 10. He gave me the 10 to pay for the gas by itself for sure, and then he gave me the 20 for the Newport longs and the case of Sprite.
Oh, Alvin Brown said that man was thirsty.
Thirsty as hell.
Oh, he got me cracking up with these comments, man.
He thirsty. He had to be thirsty. It's because it is hot down here in Texas. The other day it was 109 here in San Antonio.
That's funny, man.
It was so hot, my shadow was trying to get out the sun and not go outside. And it took the police 20 minutes. 20 minutes after my boss made the distress call. We under distress in here. We need some help. Somebody come. We right down the street from y'all.
You say he left the gas, right?
Left the gas.
Yeah.
Left it. Didn't it? Well, after all that was going down, what can you say? You know what I'm saying? I don't think he remembered his gas. And I did ask my boss, it's time for me to close my register. What am I supposed to do about this $10? And she gonna say, well, I don't think he's coming back for it. I'm pretty sure he's not. So what we did was we took his $14 and donated them to the children fund for those kids from the Uvalde shooting. To
Oh,
we took his, so his $14 went in a good cause.
okay.
For a hot second, I was like, shit, I deserve this right here from witnessing what I'm witnessing, not saying nothing.
Hell no.
But I'm just gonna be real, for a hot second I thought about it. I'm like, shit, I can take this home and put it on the bravado thing and call Trey X and let him send me the message. MZ, take this bet.
Yeah. Trey X supposed to been sending me some list of fights.
Man, he right now he the master of it. He like he a master on two planes. He can call a fight and he can call a fight. All I gotta do is listen and not be hard headed. And right now it's panning out real good. So let me say it out loud and clear, bro. If you start a Patreon, for those of you guys that like to put your bets on, I'll go mess with Trey X because it's gonna be real. I am living it right now as we speak. I am living proof that his little system that he using is working.
I'm telling you, me and Trey X together, man, we be unstoppable.
That boy Newport 1000, Gil Coles, he's still hot. Still hot. Donald Brown say the highest she ever seen was 93 there.
Now, when I said that, once we get off this champ Ross, I'm gonna have to stop doing that shit because that shit is time consuming. But if I'm making money, then I might be able to
Yeah,
make time
dude,
for it.
I'm telling you, he doing well. You know what I'm saying? Everything that he done turned me on to, and I'm a novice. I don't know what the hell I'm looking at or anything, but I do know when my account dollars went up, and I was like, whoa, we done made some money right here. Trace the bed. Ride with him. I'm gonna ride with him till the wheels fall off the pinto.
Damn.
So he need to go ahead and get that Patreon started. Almond Brown, you right. Go ahead, start that Patreon, Trey.
Hey, they talking about the temperature. What kind of temperatures y'all seeing out there?
Dude, the other day it was 109. The couple of days before that, we had at least 3 days of 3 digits.
Oh, yeah, yeah. We've been seeing some three digits, like 105 and shit like that.
Right, and they telling us, not to water grass and not to do so. Don't wash your car because the aquifer is running low. So we going through that part too. It rained today. Finally, we got some good rain today. I was glad about that. I love when it rains.
Yeah, I knew it rained out there because my homegirl is out there.
Oh, in San Antonio?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's out there
What
for work.
part?
The shit, I don't know what part. Unless she was in San Antonio and then she went to Houston.
Oh, she went from slow to speed and down the road real fast.
Yeah, out there for work.
I'm a Brown Sam novice 2MZ laughing. I don't know anything, nothing. Zilch. I'm just here to support. I feel you on that one when we talking about the shootout at the spot. Man, it's been when I got off work, I was like, dang, how I'm gonna go home and tell my wife because my wife don't like me working there anyway. So I'm like, for me to go home and be like, yeah, I had a pretty good night, watched the shootout, this and that. I tried to gloss it over on her like that because she was half asleep when I started talking to her. And I said, yeah, I witnessed the shootout today, and then we had a good night. And I came home early. She's like, shootout? Wait a minute, bag up. What you talking about, shootout? Oh shoot, we got Is that Hyphy I see in the house? What's up, Hyphy? I'm in the background listening. Big ups. I'm glad you stopped through, man. Always good to see Hyphy come through. I wish y'all had been here earlier so y'all could have slammed the heck out the dude that was calling me racist. But I don't even know what two white fighters he was talking about. I wouldn't even notice he was talking if it wasn't.
Nah, he said he was saying he heard you was racist to white fighters from people on the internet. Like, I don't know what the fuck that was, man.
Oh, for real? I didn't got a name like that with people actually telling on me? Well, good
That's
for
what he
me.
said. Oh, probably somebody here trolling, man.
Yay me. I don't give a shit about that, though. I got more important stuff to worry about. Like
Yeah,
how Earl and Terrence Crawford, if they lock up in October, that would be great. That would be great.
yeah,
That would be great.
it would be. So I mean, do y'all think Earl is gonna want a rematch after he get beat, or like is
Hold
he just
on, wait
gonna
a minute,
go
cause
ahead and just
before
take the
before
L?
before you even try to pull that out the crack of the bowels of the planet, let me just go ahead and let it be known right now from what my understanding is, and the words that's coming across my desk is Terrence Crawford is the one that's saying if there is no rematch clause, there is no fight.
Oh, really?
That's what how I understood it and took it. You know what I'm
Interesting.
saying? So for you to ask if Earl wants a rematch, I'm like, apparently he not the one worried about losing.
Well, he will lose, so I'm just saying, do y'all think that he'll want the rematch, or he'll just be like, you know what, I can't beat this guy?
Now I'm gonna say hypothetically speaking, and this is very hypothetically, which is not laced with any facts or anything like that. This is just all speculation. And that speculation is that of course he'll want a rematch because he'll be like, oh, let me go out here and show these people what's really going on. But I don't think he's gonna have to do that. What I think he's gonna have to be doing is saying, well, y'all seen what I did to this boy. A couple of more months, he gonna be healed up and he gonna be talking about he wanna do it again. And then I'm gonna turn up the heat on him and cook him for show. And then it's gonna be a lot of people upset and making excuses,
I mean,
talking
that
about he
sound.
had an ingrowing toenail and all this kind of nonsense.
No, I think see, the excuse for Spence if he lose gonna be like, oh, he had the car crash, but that's gonna be a bad excuse because he looks so good against Ugas. I think if Bud lose, people gonna say, ah, Earl was too big or something like that.
Hold up. First of all, the only people I'm hearing making that narrative about him and his car crash and him and the eye injury are people who were riding with Crawford. These are the people who were talking about, oh, he had an accident. He's not looking the same. He's just not the same. We don't know what's going to happen when he gets in the ring with Crawford. Crawford hits so hard. If Crawford hits, and I'm like, hold up. So now Crawford is like the hardest hitting fighter from 135 to 147 or 154. He's the one with the God power in his hands.
Well, they say he does hit hard though.
Yeah, but it's not like Earl Spence ain't been hit hard before.
Yeah, I mean, who he got? Kell Brook.
Who got
That's done hit Spence
Earl
hard.
Spence? He hit Earl kind of regular, but it wasn't nothing that damaged him like that. And before anybody tried to throw in the comment section and say, well, Crawford hit KO so hard he just made him fold up in the corner and give up. And this is true. I saw him punch KO. I saw the stoppage. But, I think KO was also kind of nervous that if he got punched in one of his eyes, how bad it might hurt. And I think he might have a little overreacted. And then Crawford was able to pounce down on him. And the referee stopped the fight a little early.
Well, he ain't had no good eyes left once he fought Crawford, so that's understandable.
He had some good enough eyes to whoop Khan.
Well, yeah, I mean, who don't?
He
Good
sucked
point.
his teeth off in the Khan real good, but I'm not trying to switch the subject. I'm going to get on back to it. Yeah. What makes you think, really, give me something technical that you think Crawford is going to offer, and I'm going to counter with what I think Spence can do.
Something technical.
Yeah,
Well,
something
see,
that
I
you
haven't I
think
haven't gave no technical breakdowns of the fight, honestly.
it's something that's chewing at you, making you feel like Crawford can beat Spence. And I want to know what it is that's got your mental kind of off. It's like,
He said, "Off." See, no, you can't slip that one. I think it's your mental off. Damn.
I'm just saying, you seem to be a little punch drunk. Or have you been in a car accident lately? some kind of trauma at work, because it don't seem like you the same social scientist that I'm used to hearing. Tell me, what is it
Cause
that's got you
cause
thinking?
I'm usually scientific.
That could be it. But what make you think, really? What is it that got you cooking saying Crawford gonna do this?
Cause Crawford is able to adjust. I just trust his ability to adjust. Just kind of like with Usyk and AJ. I just feel like you looking at, well, AJ. You can't compare AJ to Crawford. I mean
Not
to
with no
Spence.
adjustments.
Yeah, you can't compare AJ to Spence. You know what I'm saying? But it's that same quality that they have. They have a ability to adjust. Like Crawford, he'll figure some shit out in the ring. Like people used to say about Mayweather, he'll find a way to win.
Right.
That's how I feel about Crawford. He'll find a way.
Now can I add? Now this is how I feel about Spence. He also finds a way to win, and I think people are overlooking it. They not looking at the fact that he's winning. They just looking at the fact that, oh, Crawford is this, Crawford is that, and I think they're really overlooking a lot of things that Spence is. And one thing Spence is able to figure out how to win. Some people said that Kell Brook was beating him in that fight.
What adjustment do you feel like he made in the Kell Brook fight?
He tightened up his defense a little bit. Instead of him letting Kell Brook push him back, he started marching forward behind his jab. He started working off his jab a lot more cleanly. Yeah, Kell still had a little success, which is a lot of fighters that always have a little success in fights. But Spence was able to protect himself a lot better, and he worked better on the inside. He started roughing Kell back up the way Kell tried to impose his size and roughness on him in the beginning. Spence was able to endure it and then give it back.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, as far as defensively, I think Spence may be a little tighter in defense than Crawford.
Yeah, he is. Well, at least he shows that in the fights. In the fights that they've had. I don't know if like Crawford is just like not afraid to get hit because he's not afraid of some of these guys' power, or if he just really can't be defensively sound. I don't know which one it is, but I think he's shown capabilities um, of a few things that he doesn't display in all of his fights. Like he's shown that he can move a lot better than he does in most of his fights, but he just chooses to stand in front of people for whatever reason. But
Okay. Let me jump in here and see. I'm a novice last. Okay, I read that. I'm trying to see if we got anything going on in here that we might need to bring to the forefront. Oh, Trey X said an October fight would be a great birthday present. Oh, your birthday in October, X? Well, that would be. Oh, shit, that'd be a great night to watch a fight and listen, because I know you would call it on your birthday. He'd be all in his bag.
ain't it like the fifth? I think
His birthday, I've never really known it. So October is October. Shoot, I
the
call
sixth,
myself
fifth or sixth, somewhere in
being proud of September. Anybody born in September is like a distant relative.
there.
Anybody. Gil Cole say, nah, Earl ain't gonna want no rematch. He ain't gonna need no rematch. The only person gonna need a rematch is Crawford. That's who gonna need a rematch.
Man, that's gonna be one of the best nights in boxing when that fight happens.
X say, I started to jump on the panel, but I'm all for one-on-one fight. Yeah, he talking about Crawford against Spence. I'm gonna represent Spence regardless of what. And Crawford is a good fighter. Anything at 135, 140, hands down, no problem. I'll give him whatever you want. I don't want to have to argue about how strong his resume is or how weak it is. I don't want to have to compare Spence's to his. All I can say is, in the words of the great fight caller Trey X, Spence is the naturally bigger man. A good big man beats a good little man. let's not also forget, people think, talk about Spence and not being ready for Crawford, but Spence is an Olympian. Let's not forget that. And he was cheated in the Olympics because, they cheated him in the fight that he was supposed to win. Him being young, he went through his problems. He dropped some tears. He couldn't get himself back right for the fight. So he lost the next fight subsequently. And Crawford people seem to kind of ride that like that means something. And I'm like, the only thing it meant that when he took that loss and he turned pro, look at him now. He hasn't taken another loss because that taste is bitter. The only other, it's some few fighters that have taken that loss in the Olympics and came back and decided that was enough losses for me. And the thing that people bringing back up, Spence, he is born in New York. Okay, so the hell what, he was born in New York. But like he said, Texas raised him. Texas, not New York. Y'all just worry about what's going on in Nebraska. How about that? I think Earl got the better jab than Crawford.
Yeah, he did. That's one of like Earl's biggest strong points is his jab.
And his body work.
Yeah.
You can't forget that. That's right. Trey X said, you can't compare Usyk to Crawford. 335-15 compared to 58-12. Get out of here.
I think we have established that Crawford has exceeded his amateur record. Like Crawford don't perform like a 58-12 amateur. So he done went out there and embarrassed decorated Olympians. So people with way more amateur wins than him, way better amateur records. So
yeah, he's a special talent.
Yeah, Crawford is an exception with the amateur background.
Yeah, and I wouldn't take that from him. He's an exceptional talent in the ring as a pro. But, I do understand where Ed's coming from. You can't compare 335 and 15 to 58-12.
Who won that chess match they was having? That's what I want to know, because they played chess against each other. I wonder
who Crawford and Usyk?
Yeah, they played chess. But I wonder who won that match. That's what I want to know.
Now, that would be a good let's try to hunt it down and find out.
Yeah, I done seen the picture of it, but I ain't never found out who won the fight. I mean, not the fight, but but the game.
Just tell me we got to get out the way.
So it is what it is. Crawford is a good chess player. Okay, fine. I don't know if Spence played chess. I don't care. What I do know, you know what I'm saying? For him to be able to like hit people, break them up like he's been breaking up, systematically breaking them down throughout the fight. Would you agree to me that enough times being hit, at a nice solid velocity can cause problems, right?
Yeah.
I'll be back.
Now, has Spence done this in more than one fight?
What's that?
Break somebody up.
Yeah, you got the Kell Brook fight and the Ugas fight, so that's more than one fight.
What about more than two? Is there a possibility there might be a third fight out there that we might not be saying anything about?
I don't know if Lamont Peterson had injuries, but I know the fight got stopped. So.
Okay. I'm hearing some slight whispers that Lamont Peterson might did have some injuries, and that would, to me, equivalent to saying that this man hits hard.
Mm-hmm.
Has Terence Crawford put on enough punishment to anybody where he has broken anybody up?
Nah, he don't fight like that.
But
Terence Crawford tend to end people with like single punches.
He do hit people though, right?
Right, but not relentlessly like Spence do. Like if you look at Spence when he was fighting Ugas, he was just beating on Spence. He was beating on Ugas relentlessly. So that's the way he fight, because he a bigger guy. You can do that. You can kind of impose your size on people when you're a bigger guy. Crawford don't got the size at 147 to impose himself on people like that.
Now, that's a good road to go down. Crawford does not have the size to impose on people like that, but yet he attempts to oppose his will on people like that.
How?
Whenever he feels like he got somebody, Crawford tries to go in. At some point in the fight, he tries to fight. He tries to fight. At some point in the fight, he tries to fight. He goes a little toe to toe, a little head to head. At some point in the fight.
Oh yeah, he'll stand in there and trade with you, but he ain't finna be relentlessly trying to just impose his size on you and beat you with size. Like, cause he can't. Like I said, he can't do that at 147. He ain't big enough.
I'm glad we agree. I'm glad we agree. So, October 4th, Libra rank. Okay, so I just happened to jump down there and see Trey's birthday, October 4th, Libra game. Libra. Okay, here goes some news that X gonna throw. Crawford takes 24% of his opponent's punches, and Spence allows 19%. Oh, now there's a percentage. What say you about that? I'll let you cook on that before I even touch it, Mr. Social Scientist, sir.
No, I already agreed that Spence defense is better.
Yeah, we did, but I just wanted to hear you say it again while I had that graphic up.
Oh, okay.
I just needed to get it, get it embroidered with your voice behind it and everything. So when it come down to it, fight night, I had this to draw back on.
No argument from me, man. You know what I'm saying? It's like when you be outside playing and your mom be like, "Don't you jump over that fence," but you jump over the fence because you know what you're doing. You know you ain't gonna hurt yourself, right? So
Okay.
you know how much you can deal with. So that's how I feel like Crawford gonna go in there. He know what he can deal with. He know what he got to do when he in there. If he don't need to get hit by 24% of Spence punches, then he won't. He know what he doing. I just trust Crawford, man.
You just trust?
Yeah, I trust. That's my dude. I trust.
Gil Cole say Spence by split decision. Wow. Now I don't know if it's gonna be a split decision. I'm thinking it might be close, but I got a feeling it's gonna be the type of fight that's gonna be like, dude, he beat him. Whoever wins, it's gonna be a dude. But let me not say whoever, because I already know it's written in stone. As soon as I find my chisel,
Stand in the stone. I've been listening to that Earth, Wind, and Fire, man.
I feel you. I like Earth, Wind, and Fire. They do their thing. But even Earth, Wind, and Fire is not going to be able to help Bud Crawford. And I'm hearing a lot of banter. I even seen that interview where Bud was like, "I've always respected Earl Spence. When he was in the Olympics, I rooted for him. When he made his pro debut and became a pro, I was rooting for him. Yada, 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 yada. I've never talked down on him. And then he worded it smartly. He said, I never talked down on his skills and determination or something like that. But I'm like, he sure was throwing a lot of rocks. When he didn't tell Bomac to be quiet when he was calling, drunk ain't shit after the man was in a car accident. I was like, dang, dude, couldn't we just say, we hope he make it home to his kids and his family? Bud's camp has been ruthless when it comes down to saying stuff. But we Texas boys graciously take insults and we deal with it on the battlefield.
Yeah. I mean, Bomac are wrong for that, but it is what it is.
So just looking at it, not trying to, sway one side or the other, we both kind of agree that Spence got a little better defense than Crawford.
Yeah, he has shown better defense in, his fights. So
I guess the next thing to be is to compare footwork. And do you think Terrence Crawford is twinkle toes? Do he got it? And
he could if he wanted to. I mean, I think we were about to see that in the Khan fight. He was showing some great footwork in the Khan fight, but Khan quit. I think Bud was prepared to give a star making performance in that fight, but Khan kind of robbed. Yeah, he robbed him of it. So,
well, that could have been, a Keith Thurman fight or something like that. I just saying because, why go after a Khan that everybody knows if you press his button, Khan is the dude to fight with his chin up in the air.
Right.
you know it's not a hard thing to know. But yeah, I could see Bud wanted to show out, and it's a name. But I felt like at that time Keith Thurman's name bigger than Khan's.
Yeah, but Keith talking about 10 million and all that shit during the pandemic. So
Back then he was talking about 10 million
now, I
because
mean, when it came around to them trying to get him in the ring and stuff.
right, because now I think Earl has great footwork as well. I think he can cut the ring off good. I think he's real good and adapted cutting the ring off.
Mm.
And with that being said, if it goes down the way you said, salute D-Lo for boxing stepping in the house, the voice of reason. With that being said, would Terrence be able to dance the whole night?
Shit,
Would
I
it be?
don't know.
These are questions that when I lean to him, I feel like, hey, Spence can do this to Terrence, and I'm looking at Terrence and I'm like, can Terrence do something to get out of that?
Right.
Him turning southpaw just means that they close hand is right there to each other, but Spence, he likes to throw that left hand a lot.
Right.
It's just the dynamics of it, the way it's looking is like strange. Will Crawford attempt to fight mostly out of the orthodox stand? I don't know how well that's gonna work for him. I don't know how well it's gonna work because Spence likes to use the jab. And
that just made me think of Trey. I do not fear the man as an orthodox fighter.
Hey, it is what it is.
It's an orthodox or southpaw. Which one is it, Trey? You don't fear him as an orthodox fighter?
When we watch him, he always seemed to get the better performances. Hold up. I always see him look the best when he fights out of the southpaw stance.
Yeah.
That's what I always see. I always see him come out with Trey X said, if Crawford fights orthodox, I'm taking KO by 8.
Damn.
Forgive my ignorance because people can read this any kind of way they want to. I'm gonna need a little clarity. You take it who with a knockout by 8?
He taking Spence by 8.
Hey, but it needs to be written. You know what I'm saying? You got people floating around and here that'll be like, see, even Trey X was saying that Crawford was gonna win if he fought a certain way. I don't want that mistake to come out. I don't want nobody to be misconstruing.
There you go. Shout out to D-Lo. He said he got Crawford KO 9. KO 9. KO 9. What Trey know about that KO 9?
Man, hold up. First of all, if they make the fight, I'm taking Crawford by KO 9. KO 9? Now, I'm glad D-Lo is here because I want to ask D-Lo, what about Crawford's power that you've seen makes you believe that he gonna sleep Spence like that? We just heard from social scientists whose word in the scientific land is like 100 above everybody else's. We revert to him. We refer to social scientists, and even social scientists say Crawford don't put enough hands on nobody in that type of way to make them feel it. But y'all,
I say he don't impose his size on nobody. No.
Exactly, same type thing, same type. I'm paraphrasing here. That's all. I'm just making the case that what about his power that I'm not seeing? You guys maybe can open my eyes to it on a serious note. What about Crawford's power is it that I'm not seeing that makes you think he can stop Spence?
Have you seen how he stopped everybody else?
I've seen how he stopped some people, but not everybody else. Some of the people I've seen stops, I was like, that's not really what I consider a stop. And, that's just what it is. That's my opinion and looking at what a stop is. But, yeah, I would like to know.
Okay, so when he stopped Sean Porter, right? You saw that fight.
Okay.
Do you think it was just sheer power that stopped Sean Porter?
I actually believe that Sean Porter had more in him. A lot of people got on me for saying this because
No, I can
I'm,
agree with that. But let me ask you this: do you
no,
think that he?
I don't think it was sheer power that stopped him, because looking at that combination in slow motion, he missed a lot of those punches. I think he landed two. The first one and the second one across grazingly across the top of Sean Porter's head.
So how did he get Sean Porter on his ass then?
Balance.
Hmm.
Sean Porter was
Okay.
dipping pretty low. And like I said, the first punch hit him. He threw a couple of other punches, and he grazed the top of his head, and Porter went down. You
So
know,
let me ask you this: do you think it's accident that Sean Porter was off balance, or did Bud put him in position to be off balance? Hello? What the hell?
now I'm still here.
Oh,
Scientists,
okay.
hold on. I need to stay in the comments for a minute and make sure everybody gets spoke. Uh, Maestro say he got Spence in 10 by knockout.
Okay.
It don't matter which hands Crawford throw with, uh, southpaw or orthodox. 10. I got Spence in 10. And then he called where D-Lo went. Where did D-Lo go? Because I'm still waiting on the answer about about what he think about Crawford's power that's gonna put Spence out the game.
Hmm. So did you hear my question or not?
No, I kind of missed your question.
Oh, okay. I was asking. So when he knocked Porter down, do you think that was like an accident that Sean Porter was off balance, or did he put Sean Porter in position to be off balance?
Sean Porter was put in a position to be off balance,
And
but
see, this is what I'm saying about Crawford. Like Crawford is smart, man. He know how to get you out of position. He know how to set you up for punches. Crawford does a lot of stuff that I think that even sometimes watching Crawford is hard for me to even figure out how he was able to pull that off, because I don't see a lot of fighters do this kind of stuff. But when Earl when he dropped Porter, he just caught him with a great hook. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like no technical setup. It wasn't no chess playing. But see, that's what Crawford has in the bag.
I,
He's a very intelligent, cerebral kind of fighter. And
now
so,
I tend to disagree, because I noticed, Earl making Porter miss on the inside and taking little digs and clips at Porter.
mhm.
And even when you see that punch, you notice how he didn't put that move where he rests that hand up on top of his head just for a brief second to bring that hook around. I think that was technically set up perfectly.
Mhm.
But because it was such a rock'em sock'em ram bunches, we all up in each other's face type of fight, people really saw the action looking at the movement and not really seeing the action as what was taking place on the inside. That's why I say when people say Porter forced uh people that Porter forced Earl to fight that way, I kind of say no, because Earl has shown us, whether we want to accept it or not, that he has shown us different styles of fighting as far as his game goes. Now, people misconstrue it and don't want to accept the fact. Yeah, he outboxed Mikey. The knock about that is, oh, why he didn't knock Mikey out. Then they even tried to make one for the knockout. He just couldn't do it. Mikey wasn't out there to get knocked out. When Mikey realized that he made a mistake, he started trying to protect himself.
But see, when you talk about him outboxing Mikey, it wasn't necessary. It wasn't no outthinking type of shit. He kept him at the end of a jab and he pivoted when he got close. And like
Okay,
when
now,
somebody is taller and stronger and longer than you, like that's the basics. Like he just used fundamentals and outboxing with fundamentals.
and it does not it take thinking to keep doing the fundamentals, to realize that
I
since
mean,
this
it
is
takes focus. I wouldn't say
Focus.
I wouldn't say it takes like necessarily a whole bunch of thinking, but it takes focus. Yeah.
I don't believe that the playing field is as skewed as people are thinking and giving it, because Terrence Crawford is a flashy fighter. He does things where it
Is
make you
he?
go, ooh, ah. He makes you do that. I agree. I agree to that. He makes moves. He's athletic. It looks pretty when he does it. Earl isn't flashy like that. He
I
just
don't
got
really
the
think
basics.
Crawford is that flashy, to be honest. But
But when you look at it, when you look at his highlights and you see him fighting, you see the flash of him. He does have that flash. He does.
mm,
I'm giving him that 100%. Earl isn't that flash dude, but he does the technical stuff so well that in my eyes, I'm like, dude, that's just as pretty as what Crawford is doing. But it's the basics. And usually when somebody practices the basics and become masters of the basics, they usually beat the athletic dude.
mm. He the Tim Duncan of boxing.
There you go. There you go. So when it come down to that, you know, I'm giving them, I'm trying to give Crawford everything that's being asked. Hey, Crawford is this. Okay, they say Crawford is quicker or faster than Spence. Okay, we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out if he's quicker, because I don't think faster is gonna make a difference.
I mean, it could, it might not. We'll see. But I don't think that Crawford is necessarily that fast though. That's what Derek James said. He said Crawford is like fast. He like a cat and that type of shit. He's like, that's all I see. I'm like, I guess. I never really thought Crawford was like a super fast dude though.
He's quick enough to be able to get his hands off while while leaning back. From a punch, he can get his hands off because he does have long distance, so that plays a good part in it,
Oh, okay.
in my opinion. So for him to get those long arms to touch a person from a good little distance and catch him by surprise and drop him, you know, I see those things, but I'm just not seeing this the way it's being broke down, that it's like Spence gonna be just going through Crawford like that.
Hmm.
D'Lo say, let them make the fight. Now, seriously, break it down. It's not a matter of his power. Okay, I'm looking forward to it. There are a few outcomes that will surprise me. I think they both can stop the other, and both are capable of winning by decision. I can agree with that too.
Mm.
For shits and giggles, let's just say Crawford has no power. Crawford by 9. I'm laughing, but it ain't gonna happen like that. Wait a minute, what is it? Because I see Big Bro talking to somebody. I'm behind like a mug. He say, right, Gil Coles, but what big panel? Let me see, what did Gil Coles say? Trey X did make a good point. Hold on, let me put a star by this so I can come back because I'm all over the place. He made a statement. Where is it? I know you had to see it because uh, I know you had to
I
see
just
it.
saw that damn comment D'Lo made. Let's just say he had no power. KO by 9.
D'Lo practicing his comedic skills, but it is what it is. D'Lo is ranked in the 50s, so don't worry about it. He may be in the 40s since he just got first. Oh, I think that's what bro talk. No, because that's Trey. That ain't Gil Cole. Let you make the fight. Intelligent cerebral. What's that? Fighters usually have good defense. What you got to say about that, Mr. Social Scientist, sir?
We already established Crawford is the exception.
Oh,
So
so every time he has something, it's gonna be an exception to it. He's the exception with the small background,
yep,
amateur background. I can go through that.
right, right.
I can go through that. Panel Tree X and
He's
D-Lo.
a direct he's a technical cerebral fighter that like to fight. He got a problem, like Shakur Stevenson said.
Yeah, who got the problem though? Big Bro calling Trey X and D-Lo to the panel.
Yeah, Shakur say Bud got a problem because he like to fight. He don't
Right.
be wanting to box. He like to get in there and bang.
And I think that can be detrimental to his health.
Yeah, I mean everybody keeps saying that, but I don't think he's gonna be stupid about it.
Everybody?
Every Spence fan,
I don't know about that.
Crawford gonna want to fight. Crawford gonna want to fight. It's gonna get him beat up. So
I
I
don't know if it's going.
I don't think Crawford is that stupid to just go in there and do dumb stuff in the biggest fight of his career. You know what I'm saying?
Trey say, let the Kane keep talking. He telling us why Crawford is about to get whooped.
Hey man, I'm just glad all this stuff is recorded. You know what I'm saying?
Me too.
So
You know what I'm saying? I am so. Why you think I made you repeat some things just to make sure that it all got said? We got talking so hard. I was just going through the damn chat, missing stuff. I missed all my Big Bro comments.
I done gave these brothers the link. He talking about ain't no link. I done dropped the link, but man, still ain't popped up.
I dropped the link too. But you know, I'm just telling you how I feel about the here he come. The man that can call the fight and call the fight, ladies and gentlemen. Trey X in the house. What's up, bro?
Yeah,
Said we can't preach y'all niggas into heaven. I don't know what that. Hey, let me read the whole comment. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, salute. I had to jump on the panel since I was requested by OG Big E. You know what I'm saying? What's going down?
Man, we waiting on D-Lo to show up now. He said you can't preach someone into heaven at their funeral, and we can't talk these MFs into victory. They're their asses in there. Wait, what? Throw their asses in there and let's see it. I'm winning either way.
On. OG, they need to thank God for the Kane Dibbs. Because the Kane Dibbs is giving life to the Crawford fans because he ranks so high on the Channel Ross. The average Crawford fan is ranked in the 50s or the 60s and shit. J1 Pro and all the motherfuckers, they way down there at the bottom of the list. But you know, since this motherfucker, the Kane is ranked number 2, he like a beacon to him right now. You know what I'm saying?
But guess what? See, Crawford is exceptional because he had that fucked up amateur background. Yeah, he succeeded. And your boy started a day late, still succeeding. So man, I'm telling you, man, it's something about these exceptional motherfuckers, man.
Okay, let me say something, though. Let me say something.
Yeah,
let me be clear real quick. I could stop all that clicking for a second. Let me go ahead and make a point real quick, my brother. Now look, when it comes to the amateur background, that's not a reason that I'm taking Errol Spence in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Crawford has done enough in the amateurs. That motherfucker, a national Golden Glove champion. That man is a Pan American Games box off gold medalist. You know what I'm saying? Like I ain't reading this shit either. Like I know what he accomplished as an amateur. That's good enough. He did this in the United States. It ain't like he was ranked number 1. It ain't like he is in some kind of foreign country doing this kind of shit. Like he did his shit against good fighters in the United States. That's not. I just say my shit so I can just take shots at him and talk shit. I mean, goddamn, we trying to have fun with the fight. So I just want to take my shots at the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like it's the size of Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? I do give him some credit for his amateur background too, because the experiences that he had. You know what I'm saying? Like he done fought top level southpaws as an amateur, and Crawford is a top level southpaw as a pro. You know what I'm saying? But if this motherfucker will fight him, I do not fear that. If the man fight him as a southpaw, that's gonna open up the lanes for a lot of shit. Like since we've been betting on boxing, I didn't notice that like when you got a southpaw going against an orthodox, a lot of the time it's kind of hard for them to get the knockout. But when you see southpaw against southpaw, like Bam Rodriguez against Soran Visa, or you see orthodox against orthodox, it'd be some ass beatings that take place. Was Lubin and Fundora? No, I think Fundora might have fought orthodox in that fight, but it'd be a bunch of ass whoopings when you see them the same stance going against each other. And I think that Earl's lane for his jabs are gonna be open on Crawford. Crawford ain't fought nobody like Earl that got a shotgun jab. Like Crawford got a lot of things that he does well, but I don't necessarily think he doing great. It's a few things that Earl does that I feel like he does that's great. And I think his jab is one of the best in the game. I think his body attack is vicious. Like we can all agree to that. I feel like he's gonna break the man down. You know what I'm saying? And I done seen like 2 fights that Earl done had against hot guys, Ugas and Kell Brook. He got him out of there in 10. And I feel like he'll probably get this guy out of there in 11 because I think Crawford might be a little better than him. So I'm gonna say Earl KO 11, but I won't be surprised if my OG Big E down there right about that KO 10. We might have to call Earl Spence Ben, Big Ben, goddamn, because he got him out of there in 10. Benjamin, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-oh. Well, I'm going to just say, regardless of how the Crawford fans feel about it, Earl going to put hands on that boy. I think he going to cut the ring off behind the jab. Crawford going to get some shots in. Let there be no mistake about it. It's not like it's going to be just untouchable Earl. But somebody going to realize that the other dude ain't hitting as hard. And it's going to be a problem.
We'll say something about the amateur background. Oh, my bad. I thought you was done because you had Paul.
Yeah, I do have. I'm sorry, because it popped in right then. But he is exceptional for you. Didn't Earl start boxing kind of late?
He did when he was 15.
Okay, how long Crawford been boxing?
He started when he was like 6 or 7 or something like that. That's actually an advantage for him.
So who's exceptional? I'm just saying, DeCane, Mr. Social Scientist, sir. When you throw out that word exceptional, your dude is not as exceptional as you claim. My guy is
your guy might be exceptional too, but you know, my man's still exceptional though.
Okay, I'm just saying, 15, 6, that's a good 9 years.
Who else come up in weight and start knocking everybody else out? I mean,
I give you that. He came up in weight and knocked out some people.
Yeah, a few of them fights we got to give him credit for, I guess. Like Horn, he fought him in his first fight at welterweight and stopped him. And Horn was a pretty strong welterweight. You know what I'm saying? Mean Machine, pretty strong. We give him credit and all that kind of shit. But they still not high-level opponents, though. I mean, I know Jeff Horn did what he did against Pacquiao, but there is a such thing as a good fighter having an off night. Like, I can't give a guy a lot of credit when another motherfucker have a off night, in my opinion. If Pacquiao and Horn fought 10 times, I feel like Pacquiao beat the motherfucker 9 out of 10 times. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like Cambosos versus Lopez type of shit.
D-Lo say, call Earl fine wine because Crawford will end him in 9. Oh, now everybody wants to rhyme.
My man with the pimp flow over there.
Yeah. That shit was kind of smooth.
Big Bro said, yes, sir. He agreeing with Trey X when Trey X said we're going to have to call Earl Big Ben.
We're going to get him out of there in 10.
That's right, baby. Come on now. You know what I'm saying? But I see you, D-Lo. You did come with a nice little rhyme. I tried to give it as much spunk as I could, but Trey had already went through that lane. So, you like I got to tell all Crawford fans, find your own lane. Stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
But I got to say this, though. Like, I give Crawford some credit for his amateur background, even though he's 58-12. But the type of guys that was beating Crawford, I think Earl would have beat their asses. Like, the caliber of opponents that was beating Crawford are below caliber of guys that Earl was losing to. Like, Crawford, he go out there and lose to Saddam Ali and shit like that. He losing to Jerry Belmontes twice and shit. I know y'all probably like, who the fuck is that? I don't really know who he is either, but I know he beat Crawford twice, you know what I'm saying? And Ugas and shit like that. I mean, we done already seen Earl beat the shit out of him. But Earl, he going out there losing to people like, what's the dude that just fought for Undisputed against Charlo? Castaño. Oh, y'all, goddamn, Castaño ain't that special, but he was 181-5. I mean, he wasn't no scrub, you know what I'm saying? Earl, he losing to Andre Zamkovoy. He losing to Serek Sepiev, you know what I'm saying? These guys are like AIBA World Championship medalists and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, they on a whole nother level. than the guys that Crawford fought against. Like Crawford ain't fought nobody like that. You know what I'm saying? Like world beaters. He don't have no world beaters on his record. Even in the pros, I mean, I got some respect for Felix Diaz. I think that's his name. He was an Olympic gold medalist and shit. You know what I'm saying? But the more I look at the Olympics, the less that I actually respect it. I'm really looking more towards that AIBA World Championships because, like I said last time, it's less corruption than tournament. It's way more corruption than the Olympics. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I give Crawford some credit for that win. That's one of his best wins and shit. But I got way more respect for Earl's strength of schedule as far as the amateurs and shit go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. D'Lo speaking up for Crawford, he said, well, not for Crawford, he making his debate part to help out social scientists over here because I think I had him up against the ropes. He said, there's a reason Crawford started so early, but has less than 80 fights. And then he follows that with, no, don't give him credit for none of them.
Well, at the same time, though, just because you start early, that don't mean you got to have a lot of fights. That's not necessarily like a blanket thing that we do in the United States. Like you'll see some people like Mike McCallum, he was like 240 and 10. You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of fights. The Lone Star Cobra, what's his name? Donald Kerr, he had like 400 fights or something like that. But that's really not typical. If you get like 100 fights or 90 fights or something like that, that's usually pretty good. Like Floyd Mayweather, he was like 84 and 8 or something like that. And that was plenty. And Floyd started fighting when he was a baby. Basically, you know what I'm saying? His dad was in the crib. So just because you start early, that don't mean you got to have a lot of fights. You know what I'm saying? It's really about the caliber of opponents. Like how far did you go with it? Are you fighting on a national level at least? You know what I'm saying? It would be good if you fighting on the international level, but at least go out there and dominate on a national level, and that's how we'll know what caliber you are.
I feel you. I was just thinking that the other day, when you have at least 100 fights, you've just seen everything in the game. Anything over 100 fights, you just polishing up on stuff you think you need polishing up on. Gil Cole said he thinks Crawford would have stopped Mikey. He probably would have. We don't know. They didn't propose. And, I don't want to speculate on something about an opponent that they both have not faced. If we're going to compare anything, you might as well compare it to the jobs that they've already done. And it's kind of hard to do that because some of the people that Crawford fought, people have a good case of saying, well, he did get to him years after Spence had dealt with him. And so that kind of sucks. But bouncing off what you're saying, I haven't seen Crawford fight like that dude that make you say, this going to be like a hell of a fight. I haven't seen that name or anybody be excited about any of the fights he had against anybody, not even Gamboa.
Yeah, because even like you might say, okay, Crawford would have stopped Mikey Garcia. But the thing is, the people that you basing that assumption on, Mikey Garcia would beat them. Like Mikey Garcia would beat like 99% of the people that's on Crawford's resume. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't act like Mikey Garcia ain't a good fighter. That motherfucker was being mentioned on the pound for pound list at one time. You know what I'm saying? So when he was off in his day, I would take Mikey Garcia over them guys. Probably all of them down there, except for when he get to maybe Mean Machine or something might be just too big for him. You know what I'm saying? But most of them guys, he'll beat them dudes.
So she's on Decane. You had nothing to say? Come on now, stay in the conversation with us.
I mean, I don't know if I agree with that, but I mean, I can't really argue it. I can't.
But,
I mean, I can't.
Who would you take over?
That Crawford beat.
Yeah, like I was thinking Gamboa. You got when Gamboa was in his prime, it's a chance that he might could beat Mikey. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I wouldn't take Postal over Mikey. I think Mikey would find a way to beat Postal.
See that? I don't know about that.
So you think Mikey would have failed the Postal?
Yeah, I mean that would have been a close fight at least. I mean, Mikey lost to Sandor Martin or whoever this guy was.
Yeah, but it's here recently though. I'm talking about Mikey in his day. Yeah. Yeah, I'm talking about Mikey in his day.
Hands on it. When Spence put your hands on you, you a different fighter. You're not the same no more.
Yeah, but he an older fighter too, though. He an older fighter. That's probably like Mikey probably should have always been at like 135. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't really look at Mikey like and judge him too much about what's going on right now. But in this day, he was a pretty good fighter.
Do you think Mikey would have be say Felix Diaz?
I think Mikey would have been favored over Diaz. Yeah, I think he would have been favored over him. It's a good chance that Diaz could have got the upset, but I would have favored Mikey over him.
Huh. Bell Montez, I think that's who Tito talking about, said beat Omar Figueroa in the amateurs.
Yeah, that's a man that only had about 25, 30 amateur fights. The Figueroa brothers didn't have no deep amateur career. They felt like they had more of a pro style from the get-go. So they just had like 20, 30 fights and got up out of there.
D'Lo say Crawford was in and out of boxing as an amateur. So that, I wasn't saying when I was making the exceptional point, D'Lo, I was saying exceptional because Earl started at 15 and Crawford started at 9. I really didn't care about how many fights they had between that. I was just looking at the fact that here's a guy that started at 15, went to the Olympics, did, doing his thing, one of the top pros in boxing at welterweight, and it just don't seem like people are willing to see the specialness of him. They quick to say he hasn't improved, but I'm like, we've seen him fight different styles at different times and come out victorious every time.
I would say this though, OG. I think that's admirable that he accomplished that, and I feel like he an overachiever. But we can't look at that as a plus, in my opinion. Like a guy started when he was 15, and we looking at that as a plus. The advantage definitely goes to Crawford when it comes to that. Like there was a time in both their lives where Crawford was schooled in boxing and Earl didn't know shit about boxing. Like Crawford, like Crawford, like 13, and Earl ain't never even fought before. You know what I'm saying? He's somewhere playing basketball or football, and Crawford in the gym. I can't give Earl an advantage over that. I can give him props saying that he got a late start in boxing and he closed the gap. But in comparing the fighters like who gonna win, I can't say that I give an advantage to Earl because he started when he was 15.
Whoa. Let me press the button real quick. Trey, that was my banter being thrown over there. That's my way of saying, say, man, my dude started at 15 and he kicking ass like your dude who started at 9. I ain't getting him no advantage on that. But now you done gave him some ammo and let him know what I was doing.
Hey, but this is the thing. This is the thing, though, OG. That's why you fuck with on the bets. Because I live with a rational mind. I'm not gonna never send you some picks because they my favorite fighters. I don't give a fuck about that. He could be my favorite fighter. I'll bet against his ass. I like the Cowboys. I'll bet against the motherfuckers in a minute. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm gonna analyze the fight and see who I think gonna win. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's all about. So if I fuck up the bands, that's why I say, man, I make everybody mad. I make Crawford fans mad. I make Spence fans mad. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna look at this. I'm gonna look at the facts. So
yeah, we both looking at the facts. I'm just throwing some curveballs in there because this is war. I'm like, I'm like every chance I get. I like Crawford, but I got to be able to make poke fun of him with somebody, and at least with these guys, I don't have to worry about nobody getting butt hurt.
Oh yeah. We gonna poke up. We gonna poke up fun. You know what I'm saying? I just be analyzing the fight because I hate eating crow, OG. And plus, when I make a point, I want it to be a serious point. It ain't like I'm just talking because I'm an Earl Spence fan. So I'm just being a fan. But I want him to be like, you nigga make points and he served crow. I might need to listen to this motherfucker. Plus, he a champ Ross champion. You know what I'm saying? You know I had to throw that in there.
Call that boxing on 2 levels.
And then D-Lo said, this ain't war, this is comedy.
Whoa.
Hey, you say, I'm trying something. Y'all see that D-Lo got first place in the Champ Ross this past weekend. So look how aggressive he done came back today. He really feeling himself today. You see what I'm saying?
Big Bro told me, yeah, Big Bro was like,
he came back with something.
Came back all puffed up and shit.
Came in here busting like they did at the job today.
Yeah. He came in all aggressive and shit, man.
With his Pepsi on his arm.
Yeah. Real. But we're
So
gonna see though, man. We're gonna see about this shit, man. If them motherfuckers fight in October, that shit is gonna be player, man. The fall is already the best season of the year. So we're gonna get the best fight and the best season of the year. Got us a good ass community where we can talk shit about these fights and everything is all right. Bet's gonna be paid. That shit gonna be player, you know what I'm saying?
heck yeah, I'm already enjoying the bet part. That shit, that's so live. It's like going to bed at night after you put some money down and you wake up the next day and you be like, ooh, the money theory came. I got more money.
Yeah.
And stuff. Because I'm just telling you, dude, you sending them to me. I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and click this and click that. I ain't even think, I'm just looking at it like an investment.
Yeah, that's what I say, man. Just put you some money on there that you don't mind just leaving on there for a minute so we can try to make it grow. Just put it on there and forget about it. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna try to turn that shit over every week. I mean, we've
Shoot.
been on kind of like a magic carpet ride. I don't know if it's gonna continue on like that, but I'm damn sure gonna try my best to make it continue like that.
You heard me say I'm gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And let's do
Downgrade.
for a quick detour. Who y'all got in Jared Chisora versus Kubrat Pulev?
I'm taking Pulev all day. That's an easy pick.
Yeah, that's who I
Yeah.
got.
Yeah, that's a world beater. I know you don't fight like it all the time, but that's an AIBA world championship medalist. I
I
gotta
gotta
go
pick
with
him
it.
based off what I saw in his last fight against that Jerry Forrest dude. Man, he was behind that jab beautifully.
Yeah, that's a difference in class.
Yeah, he
Like
looked
like
great.
some people be judging fighters off of their losses and shit, but they be losing to better fighters than they're fighting currently. So
Yeah,
you gotta, you know what I'm saying? So you can't even take that shit into consideration. I think Pulev will go out there and put that jab and right hand on the motherfucker night. I want what you think about the fight this weekend, man. Maurice Bradis versus Ja Apatea. Have you seen that one?
who me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, I didn't know he was asking you. Cause we talked about it yesterday. But
Oh, I don't even remember. I'm over here high as a motherfucker. I don't even remember what you said.
yeah, Albertaya, man, I just don't know if he got the. I know he's skilled. I know he can fight behind his jab, but I don't know if he can outsmart Bradis or not. So I'm kind of on the fence with that one. I'm leaning towards Bradis though. I know you said you got Albertaya because you're gonna be the casino's Huckleberry, but
Yeah, I gotta be that Huckleberry, bro. But the casinos, they didn't have Apatea as a big underdog like I thought they would. Last time I checked, they got Bradis at minus 240, and they got Apatea at plus 200. So you only get 2-1 odds. And that's pretty close. That's actually showing me that the casinos think there might be an upset might take place in this fight.
yeah,
Brady's supposed to be the number one ranked fighter in the division, and he going against an unknown fighter, and he only a 2.5-1 favorite.
they fight that yeah boy backyard though.
And
Albertaya,
they in his backyard. And let me
yeah,
tell you, this guy's talented, man. I was looking down the list of the fighters that Brady's been fighting, and excluding Usyk, because Usyk is in a category of his own. I mean, he's a fucking world beater, a high degree.
and he
But
started at 15.
he started when he was 15, world beater, special guy. You know what I'm saying? But this Apatel, though, I don't think it's nobody else like him in the division. I see them
Yeah,
dudes more lumbering. This dude here fight like he a 168 pounder.
yeah,
I mean, them punches is snappy, nigga. They bop, 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 bop. It ain't nobody else fighting like that. Them motherfuckers is lumbering, cruiserweight looking motherfuckers. I think he is the best athlete, probably on the scene in the cruiserweight division right now. All
yeah,
kind of hand speed, foot speed, athleticism, got the pedigree, baby world beater, AIBA Youth World Championship bronze medalist. 26,
yeah.
26. Bradis is 37.
Right. He
I
do
would.
look good out
I'm
there.
gonna tell you like. Oh my bad. What'd you say?
No, I'm just saying he does look good out there because I watched him fight. You know, he is athletic compared to a lot of them guys up there.
Yeah, I tell you this. I would not feel comfortable laying 2.5-1 odds with Bradis going to this kid's hometown and fighting this type of guy. I wouldn't feel comfortable doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta lay you 2.5-1 odds. Hell no. You know what I'm saying? So I think this Albertel dude might go out there and upset this guy.
Yeah, I mean it's a good. He got a good chance at it.
Good chance at it. We got compensated for our odds and shit, man. Hey, OG, don't be surprised if we drop that one, man, because we are fading the number one guy in the division. But shit, we got almost 2.8 to 1 odds on the shit, so we compensated for our risk.
This gonna be a surprise. We gonna that 2.8 gonna kick in strong.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be sitting back talking about, man, I went to bed and woke up. Cause that's how I be doing, bro. I don't even think about it till you shoot me something. Once you shoot me something, I'll be like, oh yeah, let me go look at that real quick. And
Oh, that's better.
I clicked on it and looked and said, oh, money.
Yeah, that's better, man. Don't even worry yourself with it, nigga. Cause I'll be over there sweating them fights and shit. Cause I don't want to lose everybody money. So I'm in that motherfucking nervous. Nigga, come back with something.
Dude, I done already accepted the challenge. I'm like, shoot, ain't nobody forcing me to do it. And now I'm like, this shit here fun. Cause I'm just like, shoot, dude, I'm making money without doing nothing. This shit is easy.
I was telling you, the Kane, go on Bovada. You know how to go on Bovada. Go on Bovada and go look at the picks. And then pick out the ones that you would bet on. And then let me see how you think.
Oh, okay.
That's all I wanted you to do. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Kane.
Because I'm on that other one that I forget the name of it.
Well, you can do it on there too. Bet online. Not bet online, but mybookie.ag, I think you said you on.
Yeah, my bookie. That's the one.
Yeah, you can still do the same thing over there. But I just know Bovada, you got access to the specific outcomes, like this person by decision, this person by knockout, all that kind of shit. If they got all of that over there, do it over there. I just want to see what kind of picks you would take. See if you would be profitable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to build a super team.
Hell yeah, man, because I'm gonna tell you that damn Sean Ross, man, is harder than betting on sports. Sean Ross prepares you for this shit because you have to pick the winner and you have to pick a specific outcome. And that's the way you make money betting on boxing. Because like let's say you got a guy and he a 20 to 1 favorite. If you bet 100, you only win $5. Ain't nobody gonna do that. But if you're able to find a specific outcome, like you take a guy that's 20 to 1 favorite, but you can take him at like 1.5 to 1 odds that he win by decision or win by knockout or something. So instead of laying 20 to 1, you lay 1.5 to 1. That's a lot better. You can make a profit off that. You see what I'm saying?
Without a doubt.
Yeah. That Sean Ross a motherfucker, nigga. That shit got had you ready to go break the casinos, nigga.
Man, see, I don't need that kind of stress.
Now, don't worry about it. That's why you got me on your team.
Hey, and I'm comfortable with it. D-Lo say Earl is a special fighter. I don't care about the style conversation. Okay, I feel you on that, D-Lo. He also said that the only fist fight that he thought was going to be close was Ugas. I think he kind of fooled us all with that one because I think everybody was giving Ugas a lot of credit and thinking it was going to be a good fight. And I think that's what Earl changed it out on everybody. It was like, nah, everybody thinks it's going to be a good fight. Watch me just punish this guy.
That was one of my worst moments. That was one of my worst moments in YouTube for me because Ugas has the same style that Lamont Peterson used on Earl. And we saw what that got him, that hunchback style that's sitting right there in front of him all hunched over. What that shit got both of them, the brakes beat off of both of them. And I don't know why I didn't make that correlation, like why I didn't see that connection. Like this dude got the exact same style that got Lamont Peterson retired. And styles make fights. That man was tailor-made for Earl.
I can say that going through my mind, this would be the first person that really that's going to dance for Earl. And when I say that, Crawford, as far as being a boxer, I'm thinking he's the first person that's going to actually make Earl have to cut the ring off. It seems like most of the people he's cut the ring off on, it was pretty easy for him. Or maybe he's just that good at cutting it off.
That's a good point. Earl ain't fought nobody that's graceful like Crawford. Like the type of fight that Crawford fought against Postall, Earl ain't fought nobody that's capable of putting together that type of fight. Go out there and outbox the motherfucker and put hard shots on the way you dropping the dude. Kind of reminds you of Mayweather when he fought against Corrales, where he out there putting a pure boxing exhibition on, but he's still putting hurt on the motherfucker and dropping him. And he actually stopped the dude, but Crawford went out there and just outclassed the motherfucker all night. Earl ain't fought nobody like that, but it go both ways. They ain't fought nobody like each other, and that's one reason why the fight's so intriguing.
I know Earl gonna come in very motivated because Triple G and Canelo were both asked who they thought was gonna win. They both said Bud. So
Shit,
I know
Earl,
Earl be watching that shit. So
a lot of people saying that shit. So yeah, he gonna have to. And the odds makers got Crawford as an opening favorite. Well, last time I checked, it was -126 to -104 in favor of Crawford being the favorite. So
yeah, everybody going with him. Not to cut you off, but it's an overwhelming number that I'm seeing of people that I don't know. I don't want to disrespect they pick with them going with Crawford, but it's like, really, it's just crazy to me. Like I was telling social scientists, maybe they mental was just a little bit off. Something that happened. They were drinking their water. I'm not 100% sure what's popping off, but it's bad. To the chat, D-Lo says.
Let me say one thing before you go, OG. Okay. Like, that's one reason why I put so much stock in the amateurs is because I noticed I probably shouldn't even be saying this shit because I'll be hating when I be giving up the game and shit.
Well, don't give it up unless it's on Patreon.
But look, it's a lot more reliable than believing your eyes. Like, ask yourself this question: all the great fighters that came along, when they retired from boxing, why didn't they get rich from betting on the fighters they think of? Because they are experts on boxing. They should be able to look at fighters stylistically and come with a high degree of accuracy, predict who is gonna win. But they don't do that shit, man. These folks predict fights and be wrong all the time. I'm talking about the great fighters. Bernard Hopkins, Sugar Ray Leonard, all these motherfuckers be wrong as fuck all the time. I would say that we more accurate than them, bro. Like, just sitting up there making picks and being held accountable for picks and folks serving crow and eating crow. I can't say for a fact, but I believe that I'm way more accurate than them motherfuckers, bro. Them motherfuckers be wrong all the time. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that shit is more accurate, bro. If you got a motherfucker that got 25 amateur fights and he fighting somebody with 300, bro, that motherfucker with 300 is gonna win most of the time. And as a matter of fact, when we make our bets, we don't never take nobody without a deep amateur background. Period. I don't give a fuck who it is. If you ain't got the amateur pedigree, you ain't getting picked. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, them motherfuckers don't be knowing what they talking about half the time.
Okay, Big Bro say, "Oh yeah," which I don't know which part of the conversation he talking about, but I know D-Lo. I'm gonna go back to it so we can figure it out. D-Lo say Chisora scared me in the Parker rematch. I thought he was gonna pass out in the corner. He was snarling like a beast on his stool in between rounds. Maybe he just was trying to get out there and whoop Parker. I don't know. But Kurel Pulev, I think he not fast, but I think he a little quicker than Chisora. And I think he a better boxer than the Warhorse. The Warhorse just, I don't know. He looked funny fighting to me.
He just a basic dude, come forward, square it up, trying to get on the inside. And I haven't really watched a whole bunch of his fights. I mean, the fight that he had against Dillian White, I think he fought him twice. I called the second fight. Anthony Joshua. Not Anthony Joshua. I started thinking about Dillian White. My bad. But yeah, I ain't watched a whole bunch of Chisora, but I have watched a little bit, but I ain't super impressed with that motherfucker.
Yeah, he's real slow. Okay, we got another D-Lo 404 boxing. He said Crawford won the jab battle versus the biggest jabber in the division in Postal. His jab is underrated. When he gets it going.
Yeah, but that's a totally different situation because he went against an orthodox fighter. Like, when you turn southpaw, you can turn southpaw to take away your opponent's jab. So he turned southpaw against Earl. If he southpaw against Earl, that has the lane open for both of their jabs. And Postall might have a good jab for 140, but he got no shotgun, break your eye socket type of jab that Earl has. Man, if people don't forget, please go back and revisit Earl Spence versus Kell Brook and just look at the jabs the man was landing. The motherfuckers looked excruciating. They looked like they was gonna break something. You know what I'm saying? Like, go back and refresh your memory on that shit, man. This man has a special jab. He has a jab that will disfigure your face. You know what I'm saying? Postall ain't disfigured nobody's face with his jab. Earl Spence done broke a man's face with his jab. You know, so go back and look at that shit again, man.
And while y'all looking at that, I'm gonna go ahead to the next statement made by D-Lo 404
Why you ain't been playing music, OG?
You know what? I'm pulling it up at the same time while we talking. I have the last few times I've been enjoying the conversation so much, I just been forgetting.
Yeah.
But I am pulling it up as you think. I mean, as you put it to my mind, as you think. Ain't that fucked up?
As you speak.
Yeah, that's what I was meant to say. As I speak, I'm pulling it up and read. Mikey tried to box on the outside versus Earl, but there was no dice. And then Big Bro, Maestro says, I think I saw Roy Jones going for Crawford too. You did, bro. Roy Jones did go for Crawford. Standing up there and saying, you know, what Earl haven't showed him. And I'm like,
but look what but Roy Jones, he be talking like Crawford got the superior strength of schedule. So I don't even take what he say seriously. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah. And then Big Bro said, oh yeah. The oh yeah is on the gambling part. Yeah, bro. Trey X is calling the fights and calling the fights. He's doing
man.
something real grand.
Anybody want to get in, man, you can get in and do a little something. Because I was thinking about starting a Patreon. And a month or something like that and post my picks. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna hit y'all for no percentage or nothing like that. Just subscribe to the Patreon.
Breaking news. Brittany Griner's detention has been extended by 6 months in Russia.
Oh man.
What?
Yeah, I thought I saw that the other day too.
Extended? So they gonna hold her even longer?
Yeah, 6 months by the Moscow court. I think she went to court today or yesterday, but they extended it 6 months.
Yeah, that's cold.
Yeah, man.
I got somebody trying to wait. D-Lo, you're gonna have to show me something. Cause I've been kicking somebody out like a mug. And it don't look like my boy, so he ain't never getting in. Where was I? Oh. So now that I'm in here, let me find out what should I pull up? Okay, D-Lo.
You should play that high noon.
Let me go to it then. Let me go to it. Where is it?
I don't think I heard that one.
It's a show we still working on. But yeah, Big Bro came up with this idea. And we taking off with it. He said you should go with that high noon. Oh, D-Lo say that's him, so boy, this better be you, D-Lo. Show me something, D-Lo. Show me something.
Who was that was just on the panel?
It ain't D-Lo.
Troll.
Now I'm looking down in the chat. It say me, and then it say you feel me knocking, but the character that I'm looking at just cut your camera on, D-Lo. He in the dark. I can't see. Put some light on your face. I know, so I can see it's you. Shit. Man, that don't look like no D-Lo, man. I don't know who the fuck
I
that is.
just saw a weird face that was on the panel a few seconds ago.
But I'm looking at what's being wrote in the chat. It looked like him, you know what I'm saying? What y'all say?
Is D-Lo said that's him?
Down there at the bottom, you see what after when Big Bro say, "Oh yeah," on the gambling part. Then he said, "I get that." Just giving him credit for winning the jab battle against Post Dog. Then it say me, and then it say you feel me knocking.
Yeah, he said let him in the house. That's D-Lo. He got a ranch.
What is this character he got right
Oh
there?
no, that's Canelo swole up.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I don't know what's going on. What's up, D-Lo?
What's going on?
You got it. Glad to see you stopping through. You must got some knowledge to bestow upon us.
You know you're talking to something like a champ right now, right?
What?
Yeah.
I talk to a champ all the time.
Yeah, you talking to something like a champ right now. Something like
it ain't good enough. I talk to a champion. Trey Ace, can you say something real quick?
Oh yeah, the champ is here.
See, I talk to a champion, not something like one. I talk to one. What's going on with you, pimping? You come in here to help us?
Yeah, I just came in. Just want to get in fellowship a little bit before you close it out. That's all.
Well, don't come in on the water, my brother.
Yeah, because it sounds like you swimming. And this ain't no shots at you.
How about now?
Like your internet right now. Oh, now you sound pretty good.
Okay.
Now you're sounding pretty good. Because at first it sounded like you was at high noon at Galveston. Okay, let me see if I can't bring something to the masses. Who is that breathing like that? The Kane, is that you?
No.
Can y'all hear this here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hold up. Before I got to make sure it's the right one. My bad, ladies and gentlemen, for messing up. But D-Lo said, man, let me in the house. I got to make sure it's the right version before I just pump it out. So here we go. This is the right one, not the newest one.
I know. Boy say he wanna see me in the street so bad. I know. He made that trip and we were drinking in the kitty cat saloon. Dude got mad cause the dame chose me. I'm just drinking in the cut. Could it be the size of my boots that made her wanna say what's up? Looked at my partner with a smirk on my face and I shook my head. Tomorrow at high fucking noon, somebody had on me dead. Where's my hat? I done got fucking mad, ain't gonna be no fucking sleep. Because of this fucking toad sucker done call me out in these streets. Got up early next morning, sent a message to my bro back home. Teller said, well, first I spit on the ground, and I said, who's gone? He asked, what's the message? Then I said, I'm sorry, I know I said I'm coming home soon. But I'm gonna be on the run, about to kill a toad sucker at about high noon. High noon. High noon.
Playing my guitar, sitting in the back with my head down low. Running long, Joe say single to the bar, keep sending some more. I'ma tell you a story about the kitty cat saloon. This is how it goes down. If you got you some baby and you trying to come chill, yeah, the girls let them move around. Now everyone knows how the story goes. If the girl choose him, you just let her go. But this boy about to die, but this broad catch fire, but this broad understand. Don't even know her. He standing in the perfect spot with the perfect shot. If I squeeze, I'm a sniper for sure. I ain't gotta worry about a body. Why is that? My little brother home is peace. You come here tripping with fam, what happened? Automatically release the beast. I heard my big bro say I'ma give you what you want. What you want. On tomorrow, have your punk ass out in front. Out in front. Tell your mom that her son will catch me acting at the highest sun. I know. I know. I know. That's the high noon, man.
Yeah, that's the joint right there. I know.
Yeah, I like that motherfucker, man. That shit down there felt like a Texas anthem or something, nigga.
Yeah, that joke right now.
Yeah, I like that motherfucker.
Big E came over to that idea, man. He just hit me up and was like, "This is it." I'm like, "Oh," so we waiting on the rest of our brothers to do their thing with it. But yeah, that's Texas all day.
When I heard it come in, man, and I started hearing y'all go in on it, I had thinking about the movie Posse. I said, man, that should have been on the soundtrack of Posse.
We a few years too late, but you know, we never know. We might get lucky and get on something like The Harder They Fall. We might look up and ride through one of them. But yeah, I didn't know that I was missing the music like that because I had started having conversations with you guys that was just feeling so good. I just be forgetting about it.
Yeah, but I see you still got the all day drop July 8, 2022 on them, boy.
Yeah, that's coming out. That's coming out. I'm excited too. I'm excited because me and my brothers all be on the same project together for the first time. And everybody be out. I don't care what they do, but it's just the promise that I made to all of them and they made to me that we all get on something and be out together, and we finna do it.
How you say you buy it?
It's gonna be on iTunes, Apple Music. It's gonna be on everything. It's gonna be distributed. It's supposedly I shouldn't miss not one online store that it should come out on.
I'm gonna come through and cop that bitch. I just ain't never bought nothing on iTunes and nothing, but I figured that.
Oh, it's pretty easy. I used to snatch stuff up on there all the time. I hear crazy stuff from like a movie or something and go in there and buy that song from the soundtrack.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, I like shit like that, man. That high noon shit ain't about like the normal shit. Got a little creative concept to it, you know.
Oh,
yeah, some Texas sound and shit.
It's what's the word I'm looking for? It's creativity all through this piece, all through it. But I got a hook that I want you to mess with. It's on a solo song that I got called "Show Me Something," and I'm gonna drop it right here while I go run to this toilet. Y'all give me a sec.
All right.
That nigga ain't even have to say all that on the live stream. He just left us here without a plan, goddamn me.
Yeah.
We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. Since they claim that we be from. I'm educated rapper, rewrite his verse like 5 times. Had his best friend standing around like 5 moms. Got your baby mama screaming, better call your ghostwriter. This nigga is here, fire, that bitch is no liar. I make a move into the booth, they start to hesitate. I clear my throat, they start to meditate. But here's the truth, I'ma go ahead and block it when it's time for me to start. There ain't no way that you can stop it. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. Since they claim that we be drunk, when they baby in the club, the way the nasty start to bounce, spin around the pool like a helicopter about to when they baby in the club, watch the way the weather start to change. Drop the track on the track tight, watch the way the dollars rain. Before you know it, she got the thing all up in your face. And she's so close that if you breathe wrong, you might get it paid. Then you black out when you wake up in the morning. Now you stretching and yawning as you leave and the track tightened on. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. Since they claim that we be from, they say take it to the streets, okay, we can take it there. Let me be real clear, and then I'm gonna play fair. Understand, I don't stop till I get mama, daddy, and baby there. Are we clear? See me that it's too late, and I ain't trying to hear you plead for your life with that wait. And over till your smooth muscles stop. I don't walk away till you're breathing is not. You're breathing is not. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. We're about to show you something. Since they claim that we be frontin'. Say, man, can you do something with that pimping? Give
Yeah,
some original social scientist flavor to it.
I can put some sauce on it.
Yeah. Let's check it out. See what kind of idea you come up with. I'll shoot it to you.
You just want me to sing something on the hook?
Be the hook.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Yeah. I want to see what kind of sauce you can put on there.
Yeah.
I can pull mine off and see what yours sound like by itself.
All right.
I see we got Almond Brown say, I don't have iPhone, so please make it accessible to us Android users. Big Bro say that's what's up, social scientists, and then Trey X, Almond Brown team. 909 Team Apple only. Dang, that's harsh. Team Apple only. Well, since we established again in the court of Spence versus Crawford, Spence is ahead at least 9-2.
Spence is ahead 9-2. I mean, how we determining that?
Yeah, how many? That's 11 rounds, ain't it?
Yeah, that's 11 rounds. In a debate, we done debated a few times. I'm just saying, the people debating for Spence, we 9-2.
Oh, I thought you were saying he gonna win the fight 9-2. I was about to say it got to be 9-3, don't it, OG? Maybe 10-2. Well, you saying 9-2 in the debates.
Yeah, this is a debate. We and right now, I feel like the Spence people been holding it down. I see they Professor D-Lo is lurking, saying that he gonna wait till they officiate the fight and make it official. He just don't have no fun in it. He just missed the business all the time. Come on,
God is restricting his Wi-Fi, so he don't be up here spewing that nonsense.
Damn.
Wow. Now, I never heard of it put like that, but that's a good metaphor.
Damn.
He
Yeah,
said,
God did it to you.
oh. Maybe he having a thunderstorm over there by where he at, because he just disappeared. Almond Brown said, never join the Apple team. Wow.
Yeah, she don't like that. She don't like the iPhone.
What's wrong with the iPhone?
She's just a hater.
Yeah, I guess it can equivalent to that. D-Lo back, I'm here. Oh no. Somebody was saying that they said that Katie Taylor, not Taylor, what's the other baby's name?
Serrano.
No, the one that
Caskill.
the one that Clarissa's supposed to be getting ready to deal.
Oh yeah, they got that girl favorite. From what I saw, I didn't look it up, but I saw somebody had it in the headline.
Yeah, I saw that too.
And I was talking about it too. They got old girl Marshall like minus 125, and they got Carissa about even money.
They just trying to force that on us. ESPN that took all the black dudes off their pound for pound list. They just disappointed me so bad.
If you take Carissa by decision, you might get 2-1 odds. Imagine that you get Carissa Shields and 2-1 odds. You bet 100, you win 200.
By decision, and that's pretty much the only way she win fights.
Right.
Yeah. That's why I said it. You know what I'm saying? That's the most likely outcome, and they'll give you about 2-1 odds. I mean, who wouldn't want to take that?
Right.
But to
Maestro.
be honest, on the flip side, if you take Savannah Marshall by decision, you'll probably get like 1.5 to 2 odds on her too. It just be like that with them odds. That's why I say, like, damn, y'all trying to give it away.
Yeah, but Marshall rarely wins by decision.
Well, if you take her by knockout, you will probably get some about 2-1 odds.
Oh, really?
It'd be nigga. You will go look at that shit. It'd be plus, 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 plus. It'd be a plus for everything, bro. I'd be like, damn, nigga. So anything you bet on in this section right here, you gonna get more than 1-1 odds, more
Yeah,
than even
I've
money.
seen that before.
That's gonna be a
Yeah,
hell of a fight, though.
it
You
is. I
said
think Carissa should get her though.
Yeah.
I'm going with Clarissa for sure. She'll beat her. That's my
Well,
girl.
I hope it's not. I hope it's as bad as the Hammer fight.
Oh yes, very decisive.
Nah, it ain't gonna be that bad because Hammer, all she had was a jab. Marshall got too many tools, man. That's
What
gonna be a
all
hard
tools
fight
she
for
got?
Chris. Man,
What
she
all
set up
tools?
her work very well. She got a nice jab. She got a real
Man,
nice
that
left hook.
basic. Oh my bad. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead, bro.
She got a real nice. She got a real nice left hook. Like she got power in both hands. She flow very well. Like she very fluid. You know what I'm saying? She got a lot of shit going on for herself.
Yeah, that shit looked like some English slickness. You know what I'm
Some
saying? Like,
English slickness.
yeah, that's what it looked like. It don't look like that Detroit,
That's
Michigan.
proper slickness.
That don't look like no Detroit,
That's that.
Michigan slickness.
That's that comic. That's that Commonwealth slick.
Wow.
Square minutes, nigga. That ain't that soul brother slickness that we got in the United States, nigga. That's totally different. Like she get out there a little bit of head movement and all that kind of shit. Even though she the taller fighter, she down there bobbing and weaving out there. You know what I'm saying? That ain't no good shit for the most part. But yeah, she be bending down, going to the body with the jab, throwing that slow ass right hand that Carissa Shields been talking about this whole time. That shit gonna get counted. You know what I'm saying? She stand up straight, like when she ain't doing the head shit, she kind of post up in front of you a little bit, big target. I think she gonna go out there and get her ass lit up. That's what I think. I really do. I think she gonna get lit up, man. You know, what we're basing her on, look at her strength of schedule. All of
Yeah, I
these
mean,
weak ass opponents that's coming in on short notice. And we sitting up here basing what she gonna do against Carissa on that. And look at Carissa's strength of schedule since she been in the game. Come in fighting Franchon Cruz, fighting Hannah Gabriels, fighting what's the goddamn Christina Hammer, all these type of motherfuckers. This woman ain't had to go through all of that.
but
And
she fought
she
some.
oh go ahead, my bad.
She
Hey,
done,
she fought
Clarissa done
Raquel.
fought some low level motherfuckers too. She
She
fought
fought Raquel Miller too.
no, she didn't. She fought her in the amateur.
No, well, what's the one that dropped her? I got Raquel
You
Miller
Hannah
mixed
talking
up.
Gabriel.
about Hannah
Hannah
Gabriel?
Gabriel. Hannah Gabriel. That's what
Hannah
I was thinking.
Gabriel
My bad.
dropping.
My bad.
Yeah, I
Clarissa
had
done
named her.
she done fought some low level people. She fought Sylvia Sabados and the woman she won the first championship from. She was garbage. I can't remember her name. But anyway, yeah, they have some common opponents. The most prominent being Hannah Rankin. And Clarissa outclassed and beat her 100-90. But Savannah Marshall stopped that girl in brutal fashion. Like
How
it was
much time she had to get ready for the fight?
Yeah, I was just about to ask that.
she had plenty of time because the fight got canceled once, right? And so like they both had like a whole lot of notice. Like I think the fight was supposed to happen in like August. It ended up happening in October or something. But yeah, they both knew about the fight a very long time.
Let me
Okay.
ask you this question: Who you taking, Franchon Cruz or Savannah Marshall?
Mm, that's a good ass fight, man.
Just the hold on, just the fact that I can ask you that question. Hell, I could come back with Hannah Gabriel versus Savannah Marshall, and you would have to think about it. It's
no,
not no.
I would have to think about that.
You would take over some
Hannah Gabriel.
over Hannah Gabriel, just easy work.
Yeah.
Woo.
Okay.
Yeah, I take Marshall over Gabriel.
That's why you ain't catching Mark James' nose. You need to tighten your motherfucking game up. You tripping over here.
Man.
Square business, that old Commonwealth ass shit got this man mesmerized over
He
here.
said the comment.
Mesmerizing with the Commonwealth slickness.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I would take over Gabriel, man.
Wow, that's messed up. Hyphy say Marshall got the tools, but she used wait a minute. She used to fighting in cruise control versus smaller, weaker women. She gonna be surprised by Clarissa's strength.
She the type of person that give up a height too. She ain't like she out there just boxing that type of fight. Like she just out there pop and just being graceful out there. She the type of motherfucker step until you want to fight. Like she give you an opportunity to hit her motherfucking ass if she fights somebody that's good and fighting back. You know what I'm saying?
We're talking about Shields.
Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Hell yeah. Like, do you see her out there using a height and fighting a smart fight, or is she closer to like a damn near like a Fedora type motherfucker that give up a height and step to you, wanting to put some hurt on you, but with more skill, more polish. But she stepped to you, want to put hurt on you instead of using her advantages to the optimum.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that she been fighting low level competition, and I mean, it looked like she ain't really having to try too hard. So, but she does turn to the side a lot when she ain't close to you and present a small target. But I mean, she ain't really had to like cover up because ain't nobody coming back with nothing. She too powerful for them girls.
So who you got in the fight? Who you leaning towards?
He sound like
Yeah,
Marshall.
man, that's a hard one for me. I'm really have to study because I've been looking at Savannah Marshall's her trajectory and how Peter Fury been training her. I think it was her last fight. The way she knocked that girl out. She said Peter Fury had been training her on that move. So basically, she kind of dipped down to her, I think it was her left and came back, or her right and came back with a left hook. But it's something that Clarissa Shields does a lot. Like she did it over and over and over against Hammer. Like it's one of her favorite things. She dipped down and come up with a left hook. And so Marshall just did that with because the girl tried the same move. And Marshall did that with her and caught her and knocked her out. Now, if they both do that in the Shields fight and they both land, it's Shields gonna be the one that fall because she don't be knocking people out like that.
Okay, now listen. This reason right here is why I don't even get into all of that shit. Because you go looking for this move, and that move don't ever come, you fucked up. That's why I rather look at somebody at a more macro perspective. Like I'm looking at amateur background. I want to know who you are as a fighter. Somebody just came out muting that shit, threw me out. I wanted to make a point. Oh yeah, the point I wanted to make. When you got K going against the United States, from what I've seen, they'll go out there and beat a Wilder because he ain't polished. It is what it is. We like Wilder, but he's not polished. They'll go out there and beat a Jeff Lacey, somebody that ain't no slick science practitioner. But when you got the skillful Americans going against the skillful UK fighters, them motherfuckers ain't beating us for the most part. They go out there and beat the fighters that we have that's not polished. This woman here is arguably one of the most, well, maybe even the most polished fighter that we've seen. Hell, I can't think of too many women's fighters that I look at that's more skilled than Carissa. Carissa is the first women's fighter that I looked at, and it wasn't stuck in my mind that I was watching a women's fight. Like when she a women's fight, when she fought against Franchon Cruz, I just thought that was just a hell of a fight. You know what I'm saying? But these type of fighters don't get beat by UK fighters. If you just look at the shit, just the history of this shit. You know what I'm saying? So I think the woman historically got a uphill climb against her in this situation.
Yeah, I feel you. That the same thing you say about her. Like the first time you felt like a woman was just fighting and just wasn't looking like a woman fighter. People say the same shit about Marshall. So I mean, I get the fact that like we always beat the UK fighters and all that, but Marshall a motherfucker, man. I think she a little underrated as far as her boxing skills because she be stopping people. But I mean, a lot of times she's stopping these people because she can box, not just because she's powerful.
Yeah, but
And
you
she
ain't
did
mentioning
beat
the fact
Clarissa
that
Shields in the amateur.
Yeah, I understand all that. 3-round fights and all that kind of shit. Now I haven't seen it, so I can't really have a major opinion on it. And I do know that she beat her, and that's something to take into consideration. But I just ain't been impressed with the opponents from Savannah Marshall. Like I'm not real knowledgeable about the women's fight game, but when I see her knocking these women out, I be like, damn, look like no impressive type shit to me. Like who she fighting? Like the motherfuckers coming in on short notice and shit.
Did you see the Hannah Rankin fight?
No, I ain't seen the Hannah Rankin fight.
Yeah,
That's the one. That's the one fight.
Well,
That's a
that's
one.
a common opponent between them.
How many good fighters has she been beaten?
Who talking about Marshall?
Yeah.
Hell, not many, cause she ain't really stepped up. I think she just waiting around for that Clarissa fight.
They
See,
keeping her safe for that fight to happen and not lose its luster.
I
So
don't
is
know if they keeping her safe or not.
how
But
good is Hannah Rankin? Is she real good?
she ain't that good. But I'm just saying
So
that's a
so she ain't got nothing but trash on the record, basically.
who ranking or
No,
Marshall.
Marshall.
For the most part, yeah, her opponents have not been that good.
Well,
that's
goddamn.
keeping her safe.
That's what now.
That's keeping her safe and preserving her record.
I mean, I guess it ain't a lot of women up there at that division. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
But you
I
know
just heard.
they
I just
get
heard you
men
say
up
she
there.
had stepped up, so that's why you know what I'm saying.
Let
Yeah,
me
they
ask you this question: do Carissa Shields got good fighters on her resume?
yeah, some, but like people be taking shots at
I'm,
Clarissa Shields' resume.
I'm not
Yeah,
talking about like every fighter, but do she have good fighters on her resume? Like, can you go to her resume and find good fighters?
Well, you can find Franchon Cruz.
Five champions.
What you say now?
Can you go to her resume and find good fighters?
No, I was asking what D-Lo said, but yeah, she
I
got
was
a
just
couple.
saying that there's some champions on her resume.
Yeah, for sure. But
Man,
some of them.
Franchon Cruz will beat the brakes off of anybody that Savannah Marshall ever fought as a pro.
Well, Franchon Cruz fight at 168, so I mean, of course.
I'm just saying, like, just as a fighter, who she is as a fighter, nigga. This is a undisputed champion, ain't she?
yes, she is.
Yeah,
Oh,
she is.
but I forgot. I'm talking to the Kane, somebody that don't have no respect for strength of schedule. So he's not
I
even
don't have no
comprehending.
respect. I
No,
don't
you
have no
don't.
respect
Like
for
you
Clarissa
ain't even
Shields.
comprehending what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm too
Like
slow to comprehend what you're
yeah,
saying
yeah,
now.
hell
Don't
yeah,
do me
you
like
slow
that,
as
brother.
hell. Yeah, that's how them Crawford fans be. Strength of schedule don't mean nothing.
Hey, watch out now.
See how they get. See how they get, brother. See how they get. They just jump out the window, like.
I'm just saying, I'm over here pulling teeth because to me it's clear that Carissa Shields has good fighters on her resume. Not the whole thing, but you can go to her resume and pick out at least 3 or 4 good fighters. And when you go to this woman's resume, you can't pick out none. And
Yeah.
I'm thinking this is obvious, and I want him to acknowledge this, but he keep dancing around it like he don't understand what the hell I'm saying.
Did I not say she had good fighters on her resume?
Man,
Who?
hell, people take shots at Chris' resume.
But
Nigga,
they
it's a
do.
yes or
They
no
do.
question.
She got about 3 or 4 good fight, like legit good fighters on her resume.
Okay, but okay, that's all I was asking for. But let me ask you this: the people that's doing the criticizing, we already know that the knowledge for women's boxing is very low. So the
Very.
people that's doing the criticizing, how much do they know?
How much?
Shit. Who knows?
Nobody.
Folks probably don't know shit. Most folks don't know shit about
But
boxing.
I
They
mean,
damn
but see
sure.
that the reason I say that is because like you have people who are really knowledgeable about women's boxing who rate Clarissa Shields low because of her strength of schedule. Like they say Katie Taylor's #1 because Clarissa Shields ain't fought high level opposition despite being a 2-time undisputed champion or
They
division
said
undisputed champion.
they said Breakers was #1 too. See what happened with her. Hey, another thing, man. When are we seeing Clarissa? And other than I want to say maybe the fight she got dropped. I think, but I might be wrong about that. But
The
I don't
Gabriel fight.
recall. I don't recall any Clarissa Shields fights where it was debatable at the end who won. We seen Katie Taylor in 2 or 3 such fights. You know what I'm saying? We seen Breakers, who they had as the #1 before. You know what I'm saying? They had Breakers over Clarissa. We saw her go out there and lose to the same woman twice. And pretty much, and she wouldn't fight Clarissa when Clarissa was trying to come down and wait to meet her in the middle.
Yeah.
Well, I
See,
will
here's the
say
thing.
though, it was people saying they felt like Hannah Gabriel's beat her.
Yeah,
Well,
I thought they did.
that's
I
some
couldn't
BS
remember
though.
for sure, but I thought I remember people saying that.
Amber Graves didn't beat her. She just dropped her in the first round, and she pretty much won the rest of the round. But yeah, Hannah Gabriel didn't win that fight. But I mean, the way I look at it, like Savannah Marshall, she'll beat pretty much everybody that Clarissa done fought. I know you think that she might have some trouble with Franchon Cruz's earn. That's that's understandable. She
He didn't say trouble.
yeah, but
He
I
said
think
she
that
would
she
get
would
her
beat.
ass beat.
I think that she would beat Franchon Cruz. So. But I know that she would beat everybody else on Clarissa Shields' resume.
I think Clarissa beat the hell out of everybody on her resume.
So you think she'll beat?
Yeah, I think they'll both beat everybody on each other's resume.
You think she'll
But
beat?
hold on, but my bad, OG, but she'll have trouble with Franchon. She ain't about to go out there and walk through no Franchon Cruz, bro. I mean, Franchon Cruz DeZern. Yeah, she ain't about to walk through that shit, bro.
Yeah, that would be a good fight, but
Hell yeah,
I
that'd
think
be a
that
good
Marshall
fight.
would win. Hell, it was a good fight when Clarissa fought her. Shit.
So you think she'll beat Hammer? I'm just throwing this out there,
Man, she'll fuck Hammer all the way up.
So you think she'll get past Hammer's jab?
Man, yeah.
Like Clarissa did?
Yeah, Hammer ain't got too much to offer.
Hammer
had been
beaten
beat
for 10 years.
Hammer had been beaten before, and they gave her the decision. She got knocked out, and they still gave her the fight.
Wait, what? She got knocked out and still won?
Yeah, they gave her. She got knocked out, and they disqualified the other woman for knocking her out.
I think Clarissa still said something about that before they fight when they were going back and forth.
Yeah, and Sophie Mathis, the same one who beat the shit out of Holly Holm. Yeah, wow. she knocked Hammer out.
We're gonna have to look that up. Haifa say Savannah is the ugliest switch hitter in boxing.
I didn't even know she was a switch hitter. That's another knock on. Yeah, that's
a knock. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, y'all forgot y'all fuck with the switch hitter.
Man, hold on, man. Y'all know about that what's that Pro Box TV shit where they had a few fights here recently. Like they just had the Gonzalez versus Barriga fight last weekend, and plus they had the John Pascal versus Mong Fanlong fight. And Roy Jones, Paulie Malignaggi, and Antonio Tarver, they was talking about the perils of switching stances, and they was talking about why they don't like it. And one of the main reasons is what I've been saying the whole time: your defense suffers. And that's what Antonio Tarver brought up. He was like, hey man, your defense will not be the same if you out there switching, because you ain't used to seeing them punches coming from that direction. And I'm sitting up here like, goddamn, but I guess I don't know shit about boxing. I be saying shit because I talk about the amateurs. People say, oh, that don't mean nothing. Then the pros talk about the amateurs. I talk about the dangers of switch hitting, and now the pros is talking about the dangers of switch hitting. And I had been talking about that shit months before that. So you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that shit is not a good thing. And when I'm picking fighters on the Champ Ross, or even when we've been betting, if I see that you switch, I'm probably not gonna fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm thinking that a lot of these switch hitters, they about to start getting whooped when they fight some good fighters.
Hey, it definitely ain't a good thing when these guys out there switching just to be doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't saying it just because it's Bud, but the one thing I have noticed about Bud over the years is that Bud switches with purpose. You know what I'm saying? If he is in a stance and he doing his job and he you know what I'm saying, he out front, he probably gonna stay in that same stance. But unless he, it's come to a point where he trying to get a stoppage or something like that. But for the most part, you ain't got Bud out there kind of like stuck in between what stance he want to fight in. But a lot of these young guys coming up, man, it's like they do it for show. You know what I'm saying? Just to show they can do it. And it's like they be, they have a lot of indecision about what they want to be in against the right or wrong fighter, depending on how you look at it. That's gonna be a bad thing.
Hey man, Crawford is the only one I trust with it. And if you go to BoxRec, they got Crawford listed as a southpaw. You know what I'm saying? He ain't listed as an orthodox fighter.
Yeah, they changed. It used to be. I think it did. Used to be orthodox.
I think it used to be too. But I'm just saying, the man does it so much and he does it so well. He earned the right to be listed as a fucking southpaw on BoxRec. So he the only person I trust with that shit, man. The other motherfucker, hell no, I don't trust that, bro. I done seen a big sample size from Crawford having success with it. These other motherfuckers, man, nigga, they trying to be like him. So who I'm supposed to trust? The originator, the Mayweather, or the person out there shoulder rolling trying to be like Mayweather? Nigga, I'm trusting the original. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the other thing about Crawford too is, you know what I'm saying, even at the southpaw stance, if if he need to go to orthodox to get an advantage, he gonna do it, and he gonna stay there until he done got what he needed to get, or till it ain't working, and he like, okay, I gotta go back. He ain't, like I said, he ain't out there just doing it just because he can. And I remember, I don't know if y'all remember when Gamboa and Crawford was fighting. When Crawford went to that Southpaw, Roy Jones gave him hell for it. He was basically saying that he shouldn't have done that. He should have stayed in orthodox. He was doing good work, but then it's like once he went to Southpaw, he really started to open Gamboa up. So Roy was like, well, I guess you know what he's doing.
Yeah, that's why I say he's the only one I trust, man.
Well, if he left-handed, then he'd just be two good left-handed fighters come Spence Crawford in October. I'm going for October because I heard Brian Custer say it. I know
Hey man, I've been it's a lot of people that be converted fighters, like they really left-handed, but they fight orthodox, like a Oscar De La Hoya or Miguel Cotto, or you'll have some fighters that's really right-handed and they fight southpaw, like a Demetrius Andrade or a Shakur Stevenson. Nigga, I done got in the habit of looking at fighters sign autographs, bro. I done found that's the easiest way to determine somebody's dominant hand. Watch them sign autographs. I sat up there and watched Shakur Stevenson sign like 30 autographs with his right hand. That man is right-handed. He's a converted southpaw. I watched Andrade signing autographs with his right hand too. You know what I'm saying? So that pretty much confirmed what I've been saying, because Andrade, I knew he was a converted southpaw from just looking at him. Just looking at him punch, I could tell. And I done got confirmed. That motherfucker is right-handed.
Hey, but I'll tell you this, there are some anomalies there, because you do have those people who can only write with one hand, with a certain hand, and that's it. Like my cousin, he was left-handed. He dead now, but he was left-handed writing, but everything else he did with his right hand.
But what percentage? Yeah, but what percentage of the people gonna be like that?
That's why I said that's an anomaly. It's few people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like myself, I'm the opposite though. I do most everything else with my left hand, but I write right-handed.
I got a cousin that write with both of them, and he shoot the basketball with both of them. He can hit threes.
Boot said he write with both hands.
Yeah, he can hit threes with the right and the left hand. So yeah, I understand it's always gonna be exceptions to the rule, but overall, the dominant hand is gonna be the one that you write with.
So Boo said he ambidextrous, period.
That's what he said in the interview that I watched earlier this week. That he write, because they asked him which hand did he write with. He said both.
Wow. That okay. So his switching.
I got a cousin named Rico Troop. That's the exact same way. I always say he's the best athlete of our generation, or my, you know what I'm saying, my cousin.
I mean, he should be able to see it equally coming from either side. His defense shouldn't slip or slump, whether he left or right.
And that sounds good in practice, what I'm seeing. Because I just seen him switch southpaw and take some punches.
Yeah, regardless of what your hand, your dominant hand is or whatever, or if they're balanced, your brain is. You know what I'm saying? Even like anybody who deal with guns, you got a dominant eye. You know what I'm saying? Like one of your eyes is better on sight than the other one. So I would dare say that probably in a combat sport, you have one of your eyes is gonna be better at perception as of stuff coming at you.
Hypey said Afrocentric boxing fans like the Chicago Sensei hate Marshall just because she's cool with the Fury family. I don't know who they are.
Yeah, I don't.
I
was trying to figure out what that was.
He said Chicago Sensei, didn't he?
That's what I said.
Okay.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Social scientist.
Yeah, social science, do the impressions.
What we talking about?
We always like the
We have always fucked with the zone. Social scientist. I've seen Spence fight in some lower weight competition and smaller guys.
Wow. Okay, somebody was snapping on you one day?
Yeah.
Yeah, he went over somebody's channel trying to run shit, and they regulated on it.
Wow. Okay, so at Trey X, Savannah doesn't switch like Crawford, Ennis, or Fury. She switches due to bad habits of foot positioning. They should
That's
have
just
been
like
corrected in the amateurs.
the Figueroa brothers. You know, both the Figueroa, Brandon and Omar Figueroa, they both switch, but they don't switch like the other fighters, like he just said. They'll throw a, like, let's say they're in the orthodox stance. The motherfucker throw a 1-2, and by the time they throw the 2, now they a southpaw all of a sudden.
Throw themselves out of position.
Yeah, they feet be crossing over each other and all that kind of shit. And they go from one stance to the whole opposite stand. That's one reason, like it's hard for me to call they fights. Like, I love the action, but it's hard for me to stay in tune with what stance they in. And they be so squared up and they feet be crossing and shit. That shit down to be impossible to keep up with. You know what I'm saying?
Wow. Just switching because you got bad footing. That's terrible.
I gotta jump off, y'all, but my shit on 1%. It's about to cut off. I'm gonna get with y'all, man.
Peace,
You gotta get you a charger, man.
Hey.
I was low when I got on. You know what I'm saying?
Every day he says that.
Shots fired.
Hey, DK. You seen you seen how them two rematches between Clarissa Shields and Hannah what's her name? Yeah, dang it. Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. Seen how them two rematches went in the amateur day.
Nah, I didn't see the rematch.
I thought they only fought one time.
They didn't have them because every time they fought on a rematch, she lost.
Yeah, she lost. Well, she got the Clarissa.
So it said something. It must not have been that good. Clarissa kept winning and getting better, and Savannah kept running to a wall.
Yeah,
this is true.
She couldn't overcome Savannah that one time, but you know, she say that that it was a really close fight. That's what Clarissa said.
Well, it sounded to me when Hannah Savannah talk about it, it seemed like she be poking at Clarissa with it because I beat you that one day, regardless of how suck I am for real. That one day I beat you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like it's kind of like a thorn in Clarissa's craw, however you say it. But
she beat her.
But Brown got jokes. She said them iPhones going dead real quick.
If she would have beat her in this fight, man, they gonna act like everything Clarissa Shields done was you know what I'm saying was nothing, and they'll act like she only done it because Marshall wasn't there yet.
Yeah, they are doing that. Trey X made a comeback. He say, Almond Brown, don't be talking because you think I'm gone, man. Uh-oh.
He done went and found his charger now.
Shots fired. He can answer text. Better watch out, sis. Watch out. So, man, D-Lo, in your infinite words of wisdom that you have, what do you think about ESPN with their pound for pound list? And before I let you rip on it, I'm gonna just say a pound for pound list to me means nothing because it's just how a person feels about the fighters. They're not rooted in any kind of fact because there's no table set for a pound for pound list. It's just a good thing to argue when nothing else is on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's I think for certain fighters they go off of certain criteria, but then with certain other fighters that same criteria don't carry enough weight. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, even I don't agree with. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't think that some of these guys are worthy of being on the pound for pound list, but I don't agree with you undisputed or you got 3 belts, you should be on the pound for pound list. You know what I'm saying? Like to me, I look at pound to pound in terms of skills. You know what I'm saying? How do I think these guys the skill would translate if these guys were all in one weight class and you know who do I think would be top of the mountain, and then from there going down to maybe like 5. I wouldn't dare make a pound for pound list all the way down to number 10. Just me. I would, because I feel like after you get to about 5 or 6, it's so many people that are worthy of being a top 10 after you get below 5. But I think when you look at 5, when you got words out there that people like to throw around like elite, I think your top 5 should be like the creme de la creme, the best of the best. You know what I'm saying? And everything below that, you know, like these guys are really good. But I think if I put one together, if I got the number 6, I would probably have like 2 number 6s, 3 number 7s. You know what I'm saying? It would be ridiculous. So I don't even think I would go past 5.
You gonna do your shit like the champ Ross.
Yeah. Out of here, yeah, 2 number 1s. Yeah.
I got 10 number 7s. And shit.
But man, I find it very crazy that they put Devin Haney on the list for like a week. You know what I'm saying? And then as soon as Beterbiev went out there and had a win that was expected, you know what I'm saying? Like he was expected to stop Joe Smith.
Hold on. Hey, Hyphy, if that's you, type something in the chat.
I want to give my opinion on this pound for pound thing if you're done.
Yeah, but let me just finish. I was just gonna say that I just feel like if you put Devin Haney on there, after he beat Gambosa, how you say his name, after he beat him, I don't think anybody did anything to knock him off the list, and he certainly didn't do anything to fall off the list. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it's like I genuinely believe that they ESPN don't want a certain number of people that look a certain way on their list. They kind of gotta try to fill it in with people who look different. So you know what I'm saying? To me, I just felt like it was silly for Beterbiev to go out there and get even though the way in which he won was more dominant than expected, it was quicker than expected. I put it like that. But I don't feel like that should have pushed Devin Haney off the list. If you want to knock people off the list, take inactive Lomachenko off the list. You know, even take, Canelo off the list because he's the only one on the list who just got undressed.
Thanks. What's going on, Hyphy?
We'll see.
Wagwan. You hear me, yeah?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know when people started like giving ESPN so much attention regarding their list again, because it was a time when we was just kind of avoiding all these so-called lists, but obviously going to be some bias there. But this whole pound for pound list, once again, people don't use pound for pound based on the true definition of pound for pound. Like what pound for pound is today to most modern boxing fans is basically it's like who has the most stock, like who's the biggest star. That's pretty much how people use this whole pound for pound thing. And it's always gonna be controversy. Like me, I'm like, they don't even put no women on the team. You get me? So to me, it's automatic gonna be some controversy.
Okay, I feel you on that. That's some good points made.
But there was a point that D-Lo had made about I forget what the point was about going up, and what they said if they was all the same size, you know what I'm saying, who would be the best. But that's why I always put stock in how many weight classes you done fought in, because you get to see a person fighting as the smaller man, you get to see them fighting as the bigger man, and you get you can learn a lot from that as far as like how good a person is. Like say for instance, they keep putting Tyson Fury on the pound for pound list. Now some people say you shouldn't put heavyweights on the pound for pound list, and I don't necessarily agree with that, because as a heavyweight you can perform as a smaller man and you can perform as a bigger man. But we ain't never seen Tyson Fury as a smaller man enough. We don't know how he would perform against somebody his own height. So that's why I say you shouldn't put him on the pound for pound list. If you got somebody that's fought in one weight class, sometimes you can be the smaller or the bigger guy if you just fighting in one weight class. But if you've been in the same weight class and you always been the bigger guy, then I really don't think you should be on the pound for pound list. Like the way I look at it, I got to see how you perform in different situations and different size advantages and disadvantages and so forth like that.
So I guess my opinion on it would be the closest thing you can really see to pound for pound are the guys that are in the smaller divisions that actually move up, because you actually see it a pound for pound taking place in different situations. You actually see it come to life when guys fight the best in one weight division and then move up and continue to flourish. So with them, I can see it. I can see what facts can be brought to it, where you can build a pound for pound with them. But when you have to imagine, like you saying, a social scientist, when you have to imagine what a guy would do at a different weight class, then that's impossible to come up with a list. But the guys that actually move up and down, I guess you could stand a better chance of making pound for pound with them.
Right.
Well, to me, when you talk about moving up, I do. Now, I mean, it is just my opinion. It may not be a popular one, but I do think those guys at those really lower weight classes, I think sometimes they may get a little too much credit because they're not covering that much weight. You know what I'm saying? Like some of the smaller weight classes only separated by like 4 pounds and stuff like that.
Well, see,
So I think once you get about 26, yeah, I'd say about 26, 30, maybe 30. Because once you get to 30, then you got a 5 pound jump to go to 35. But 22, 26, 26 to 30, that's 4 pounds. But I mean, you still got to do it though.
yeah, but see, the reason I would disagree with that is because the smaller you are, then the more 3 pounds is. Like the smaller you are, the more 6 inches is.
By percentage wise.
Yeah, percentage wise. Like if you 6 feet and you fighting somebody 6'6", that's less of a disadvantage than somebody 5 feet fighting somebody 5'6". You know what I mean? Because like if you smaller, then them 6 inches is gonna be bigger. It's gonna be like you know what I mean? It means more. Just like the weight. So I mean, I don't know if it breaks down mathematically with them smaller weight classes. I don't know if it's accurate, but I mean, I think the weight does mean a lot more when you smaller. Dwayne Beeman, I don't know if y'all know who he is, but he was talking about how that little bit. It seemed like a little bit of weight, but it's a lot when you smaller.
Yeah, I just like, I guess for me, and I know this is not an everyday thing. We may not see it again for a long time. I mean, I guess Canelo is maybe the closest to it, but I don't, I ain't giving Canelo kudos for nothing. But when you look at a guy like Roy, who basically covered about 50 pounds over his career, you know what I'm saying, from 54 all the way up to over 200 pounds. So, that to me, that I put more stock in that than a guy who went, say, 6 weight classes, but the weight classes started at 105.
Yeah, I hear you on that because of that huge jump between light heavyweight and cruiser. That's a 15-pound jump. Like that's ridiculous. Like it shouldn't be no weight class with that much pounds between.
Well, if you would look at it like that, if we were to look at it like that, I guess you would have different pound for pound lists, or because you could say that guys that moved up from like 130 to 147 possibly couldn't get bigger. You would have to classify them and look at their pound for pound achievements in there, and I guess that's where you have to say how their skills carried them from whatever lower weight class to their max. Would that kind of play into it? Because saying Roy going from 154 all the way up to carrying over 200, well, we still have to give him a starting point, and that starting point would be that 154 pound mark. But the smaller weight classes like the straws, the 116s and stuff like that, I can see where you guys going. But we all have respect for a lot of fighters that have started at 126 and up. So if we were to do it like that, I would say that we would have to at least break it in certain segments and still go by the same rules of each one of like high skills, stand up, and things like that. I think it could be done, but everybody would have to be working off the same tangibles and the same markers.
Yeah, everybody never had the same criteria, you know what I'm saying? And even if they did, you still wouldn't have the same fighters. You know what I'm saying? Like if all four of us on this panel had the exact same criteria and tried to judge these fighters based off that, we may not even end up looking at the same batch of fighters, but even if we were given 60 fighters and say of these 60, who are the top 10 pound for pound, we probably would end up with 4 lists that look totally different from each other. We might have a common four guys on everybody's list, but everybody else could be totally different.
Well,
so it's kind of it's so much open to your interpretation and perception, and you know what I'm saying, just what you prefer. It's just like judging fights. Sometimes it's what do you like? You know what I'm saying? Like there are things about a fighter like Demetrius Andrade that I think are phenomenal, but there's other people that look at him and they see those same things and they think it's a vulnerability. and they think that means that he gets dominated by people that I think he dominates.
Yeah, you know, like for example, because we've been hearing Canelo get so much credit for, he was daring to be great. You know, that was the phrase. So if we could go back to Clarissa, you know, she started out, she won her title at 168, you know, super middleweight, and then she has dropped all the way down to 154 and won, you know, a title. And like I think Soda Scientist said earlier, she was attempting to fight Cecilia at some type of catch weight. So she was another one who was moving. Oh, okay, yeah. Well, you know, give D'Lo some credit for knowing a little bit about women's boxing.
We bit.
But yeah, you know, that's the same thing. And then you know, Lomachenko, okay, he was it his third fight? No, second fight was a title fight. All right, he lost. But you know, Clarissa, once again, daring to be great. Hell, she went to goddamn MMA. Yeah, she took a loss as well. But it's like, you know, it's you know, not consistent as far as, okay, we're gonna give this person credit, we're gonna give this person credit, but we're not going to credit this one. This is very inconsistent among these boxing fans.
Yeah, they celebrated Shields losing over there in MMA. Boxing fans celebrated her losing over there.
Racist boxing fan.
Yeah. Well, I gave her credit even in the loss because she attempted to do something a lot of your average Joe wouldn't attempt to do, and a lot of the boxers that we like wouldn't attempt to do. So
well, she actually got it done. You know, I mean, she went over there and she won a fight. You know what I'm saying? She just lost this. I think it was the second one.
Right. It was
so she proved to herself that she could do what she set out to do.
That's right, and that was win the fight.
I personally don't trust that whole MMA run with Shields because she done gave 2 or 3 different reasons. First, it was money because she felt like she didn't get the recognition that she deserved in boxing. She didn't make enough money. Now she's saying it's because somebody told her that she wasn't the greatest woman fighter in the world because Amanda Nunes would beat her up in the cage. And she felt like, well, that's kind of true because I don't know how to do MMA. So I got to go learn MMA so I can be the best woman fighter in the world. But the first thing she ever said was it was about she wasn't getting enough recognition in boxing and enough money. So I just don't trust that whole MMA foray myself.
Well, I think all of those things apply. I mean, none of them, you know, really seem untrue.
Right, you know, they all bounce off of each other. Just to bag you up, D-Lo, because I was going to say that none of those things make her not tell the truth. They all seem to play into each other. The credibility and her accolades that she deserves and the praise that she deserves, she gets it from MMA. By going over there, she got it from a lot of people. She makes the money is there. You know, everything that you name is applicable to what she said. So it's all
applicable. She done denied that it was about the money, but I heard her say that though. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's different.
That is different. I didn't know you were saying she denied.
Yeah, I beat the shit out of my man.
Well, you can't do that. You know, that don't stand up in court at all. You get reprimanded by the judge by having me argue against half of a statement. That's not fair at all. Anyway.
so the Kane wanted to hit her with that Bill Duke. Earlier you said it was about the money, but a few minutes ago you said it wasn't about the money.
Right.
You know you fucked up.
Right. Yeah, but yeah, I just don't trust that shit, man. It's too steeped in ego, and I don't get the tension I deserve. I mean, if you love boxing, then you know, keep boxing till you get your due. But it's like she wanted to go over there MMA, and it really wasn't about a love for MMA. That's my problem with it.
Okay, but I never heard her say that she had a love for MMA. I just heard that she gave reasons that, hey, I can do this because. Yeah. Just because y'all say I can't, I'm gonna do it. You know, it was that type of thing, and I admire a fighter if they do that. You know, I admire them for doing that. You know,
I don't do it because you love it. This is fighting, man. This ain't some shit you just go into. Oh, I'm a prove a point, man. This ain't the type of profession for that.
Speaking of love it or not loving it, y'all heard Mikey Garcia retired, right?
Yeah, I've seen about that.
That's somebody who I felt like never had any love for. He might have loved to be around boxing, but I always looked at it. The dude, to him, boxing was just a job. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I mean, not to say that that's a bad thing. At least that made him approach it with a certain level of professionalism and not play around about it. But I just always, you know what I'm saying, I always kind of looked at him as a guy who was boxing because it kind of fell in his lap, and it was like, well, he was expected to do it, but didn't really want to do it. But he went forward with it, though.
Yeah, he did the thing. But yeah, also, yeah, he retired. And you know, congratulations to he had a good career. He had a good career. He probably would have been doing all right until he decided that he wanted to fight Earl.
Left a lot of money on the table. Could have fought Lomachenko.
Could have fought Danny Garcia, I don't know how many times.
Yeah, well, you know, we also got to remember he did lose a lot of time with that court stuff.
Ball Aaron put him on the shelf because he part of it from I think it started with him trying to get him to fight Gamboa. And then they had other disagreements. They say Mikey was on the shelf.
Right.
Then I think his first fight back, one of them was against Salido, which is like a tough opponent to throw somebody in just coming back off a long layoff. Like I said, he might have had a couple fights before that, but I felt like it was too soon for where Mikey was at that time. And man, Mikey did his thing against Salido, but it was a rough fight, man. Salido broke his nose, and you know, with his head, if I'm not mistaken. So you know, it just wasn't really, you know, it still wasn't really a good situation for him.
Man, well, he had a good career. That's all I can say. He had a decent career. He was a champion. You can't take that away from him. He had heart, and he could fight. Yeah,
he had a cool career, but like he's another one. I mean, I know people are going to automatically be trying to put him in the Hall of Fame team, but to me, like he's another one that's just not Hall of Fame material. And shit, honestly, when the news came out, Mikey retired. Hell, we've been looking at Mikey retired for like since 2020.
Yeah, he hasn't been having any fights. He has been out the game for him. Who was the last person he lost to?
Sandor Martin.
Yeah.
Hey, talking about Hall of Fame, man, I look at it like if we looked at some of these boxers, you know, like I said, people like to use the word elite, great, dog, all that all the time. They overuse these words. But if it was like any other sports where you had an all-star, you know, you had all-star boxers and you had all pro boxers, you know, kind of like how they do, you know what I'm saying? Like a lot of these guys that people talking about going to be Hall of Fame, but they wouldn't have been on the all-pro team. You know what I'm saying? If you just took the best of the boxers and said, okay, that guy's all pro, you know what I'm saying? And to be a Hall of Famer, you're going to have been an all pro a few times. You know what I'm saying? So I look at Mikey as like, if it was like any other sport, just say he had a 14-year career, Mikey probably would have been a 4-time All-Star. So I don't see him as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't really beat nobody. He beat what? Broner, Easter. That's about it. Like, as far as names that you would even consider. Yeah.
Yeah, there was some dangerous little guys when Mikey was down at lower weights that he didn't fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't even think Mikey fought a guy like he may have, but I don't remember him fighting Ponce de Leon. I know he didn't fight Walmart, he didn't fight Gamboa. You know what I'm saying? The old guy was around his weight class when he was down at like 26 or what, you know what I'm saying, and stuff. You know, them were fights that could have been made. And them were top ranked guys, you know, for the most part.
He got Walmart when Walmart was pretty shot.
He fought Walmart later on. After so he fought Walmart after Salido had already beat him.
Correct.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I didn't remember when Walmart was Walmart. I don't remember him and Mikey mixing it up. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Juan Manuel Lopez.
Yeah.
Yes.
He fought him right after Salido.
Hey, so I got a question for y'all. Would anybody have any issue with people throwing Bam Rodriguez in there as possible pound for pound candidate?
I mean, I don't have an issue with it. It's depending on who. I mean, you got just you look at who's there, who moves. You know what I'm saying? That's the way I look at it. I can see him being there when, like I said, I don't understand Lomachenko being there right now. You know what I'm saying? Just off of the circumstances, the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like the guy really is like, I don't even see how you consider the active fighter right now.
Right.
You know, I don't care about, like, a lot of people, you know, talk about him not having a belt. I don't care about that. You know, to me, it's not like, you know, it ain't like he don't have a belt because he just lost it in a fight. He lost it like 2-3 fights ago, and he done put on 2 really good wins since then. But the caliber guys that he just got the wins over, one of them, the guy that beat him for his belt had already beat that guy. Well, actually, he beat both of them. He beat both of them. So, to me, that don't erase, you know, that don't put you right back where you were in the pound for pound conversation. You know what I'm saying? So that's why. And then when you factor in that he had done anything since then, and all these other guys are active, I think he's out of place on the pound for pound list. But that's their list, though. You know.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, it's just the activity for me. I mean, I don't really have a problem with him being on there though. Like, if he wasn't inactive, I wouldn't have a problem with him being on there. But I think very highly of Loma. So
Yeah, I think he got some skills, man. I mean, when you talk about pound for pound, it's supposed to be about skills, and I mean, he got some of the best skills. He displayed some of the best skills in the sport, you know. But that's why I said I don't care about the belt. But to me, I look at, you know, how things went down and how bad he lost. To me, that was a very bad loss. I know some people feel like the fight was close, but to me, I saw like a 9-3 fight when he lost to Teofimo Lopez, and I saw him keep his hands in his pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, he had a way to go to redeem that. And I know it ain't his fault that he didn't get a chance to get a rematch, but you know, I just feel like you got to do a little more to get that out of my memory when I'm thinking about you one of the top 5 or whatever number they got him at, 6 fighters in the world.
Can I bounce in on that?
Go ahead.
One, I would have to my problem with Lomachenko is, yeah, he got skills and everything, but he declined to make a fight with a fighter, and he relinquished the belt. That has to say something when it comes to being on the pound for pound. That has to say something when you give up a belt. You're a champion, and you give up your status as a champion to not fight somebody, and you still get to hold a high number on the pound for pound list. I don't see how that equals out.
Yeah, let me reply. I'll say this. I ain't making no excuse, but like I felt like it was a sucker move for him to vacate his belt and all that. But I will say, of the 2 guys that became the 2 franchise champions, I will accept Lomachenko, and I think it was tacky and cheap on both of their parts. But I'm more willing to give Lomachenko a pass for the sake of boxing business than I am Canelo, because Canelo is the money. You know what I'm saying? I can see Lomachenko saying, I think this fight isn't gonna bring me enough money for, you know, the challenge. Let me go do something else that's gonna be a safer fight for my money. And don't get me wrong, I still think that reflects poorly on you when you're supposed to be pound for pound one of the best in the business. But to me, of the 2, it looked worse for Canelo. Like, Canelo, when he rejecting guys and talking about what they got to do, or they ain't done enough and this and others, like, even when he started talking about money, that's crazy, because you are the guy that brings the money in. So why are you talking about payday? Yeah, that case, everybody who fight you looking for a payday.
Exactly. I feel that.
he want payday.
If I had my way, I would choke a pound for pound down to the top 5. I would put that kind of pressure out there. Yeah, I'm only looking at the top 5 in the pound for pound. I'm
Your
not
top
going,
5 pound for pound, bro.
I'm not going. I have never sat down to really attempt to make one, because I've never had anything to say. How can I justify it without? How can I debate it and justify it, and not have somebody to be able to tear it down? So I've never really attempted to do one, because I've never figured out a way to be able to debate it and justify every move made on it.
Okay. Who would you put on there if you didn't have to justify it?
Well, you have to be able to justify it to yourself. First of all, you can't just say, oh, "I'm gonna pick this dude. I'm gonna pick this dude. I'm gonna pick this dude" just because. You have to really believe and look at the guys, because we could look at some champions. Because I do feel in a division, undisputed champion, regardless of what you might say, if he's undisputed, he showed his skills. He's at that point at the time of him being undisputed, especially in the full belt era. He's cleaned up the division in four different factions. He has to be on. That guy has to be on the pound for pound.
Don't open up a can of worms, Bill. All right, keep going.
So just by saying that, if we were going, that would have to be. I would say that should be a criteria for some guys. If a guy's able to grasp hold all of the belts without dodging, I mean, in one division, not waiting for a belt to be vacated or anything like that. I mean, to literally take belts from champions, to go in there and snatch a belt from a champion. If you can do that 4 times against guys who are champions, and I'm not talking about with one fight holding the belt, I'm talking about champions that they have defended their belts. Then that guy, that undisputed guy, he deserves a spot on the list. Everybody else, you can go ahead and say, if they doing it, like I said, you moving up weight classes and stuff like that, that's one way. But if you clean up a division, a whole faction of 4-belt era, you don't think that deserves some pound for pound recognition?
Well, if you saying that these guys have defended their belts and things like that, but if it's just guys running around collecting belts, then you got to put Crawford and Canelo at the top.
That's why I made sure I specified,
especially Usyk.
That's why I made sure I specified champions that have defended their belts that you've taken that from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because you got to give it some kind of weight where people could say, okay, he defended his belt a couple of times, and then you came and you hey, give me that. Let me get that up off for you. Let me get that up off for you. You can't.
I'm sorry.
Go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say that I think another part of it is like they don't really have any consistency with with the frequency in which they come out with these lists. So it's like it's not like, oh, we're gonna drop a list every 3 weeks or we're gonna drop a list once a month. It's like we drop a list this week, and then 2 weeks from now there's another big fight in which there's a fighter who we like and he goes out to get a big win. Oh, let's add him to the list and drop the list again this week. You know what I'm saying? So that plays a part in it. But it also shows that a lot of times, just like how when we're on these different forums and things and talking about fights, and just like Trey X called a fight, and afterward you go look in the comment section, some of what you see is, oh man, I don't think nobody can beat that guy, blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? And you go around YouTube or you go read articles in boxing, or you look at the comments like on Boxing Scene, and you'll have people acting like this guy just went out and stopped one man, and because he stopped this one guy, even if he was getting beat at certain points in the fight, they'll jump way out there off a cliff and start talking about they don't think nobody can beat him, or the only person in the sport that can beat him is this guy. And Canelo's a prime example. They were saying that about Canelo. And they don't think anybody. I mean, a lot of people were saying, I'm like professional fighters, former fighters, analysts, people on YouTube, people in these different boxing communities, online, talking about they don't think anybody can beat Canelo but a certain person. And I can tell you that Bivol was not that person. And look what he went out. And I was making videos complaining about people saying that. I was like, man, it's always, for every guy that you think nobody can beat, there's probably 20 guys that if they got an opportunity to fight him could beat him. But they're just not, they're not, on the radar. There might be somebody with 9 losses, but they will match up well enough against that guy that they will beat him. But my point is that a lot of times, people are creatures of the moment, and it's like they just get carried away by what they see. So a guy go out there and have a stellar performance, especially if it's against somebody they perceive to be a solid fighter, all of a sudden oh man, we got to jump him up on the pound for pound list, and we got to put him up there high. We got to bump somebody else off. And Vitervia is a classic example. He went out there and knocked out Joe Smith quicker than expected, and all of a sudden he knocking guys off the pound for pound list. If that's the case, he should have already been there.
I can see your point. So
So you think Joe Smith is he's such a non-factor that like beating him don't raise you nowhere on the pound for pound list is what you're saying.
It ain't that. It's that him beating Joe Smith ain't nothing better than what he'd already beat a guy. He beat guys better than Joe Smith already. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And Joe Smith, it ain't like we ain't seen Joe Smith beat. You know what I mean? So that was the thing about it. Like to me, if beating Joe Smith makes you I don't know what number he is, but just say it makes you number 5 on the pound for pound list, you should have already been number 6. That's my take on
it. Yeah, I feel you.
I say we come together and make a pound for pound list and put down the reasons that we put somebody on the pound for pound list and let it be known as that and ride with it and see what kind of traction it gets.
So we're gonna have the best pound for pound list in the YTBC.
Hey, seriously, I mean, if we do it, we see what we shouldn't be doing is talking about it on live stream.
Okay, we're gonna end this and we'll talk about this tonight.
But yeah, there's a way to do it and make it right. We can talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do that. Heike, you was gonna say something and you got cut off.
Yeah. So I was listening to you give your opinions about somebody becomes undisputed and if they defend the title or anything. And see, there's a lot of it's a lot even packaged up in that, because lately it's been, if you become undisputed, that's automatically making you pound for pound worthy. But like you said, you added a part into it. You need to defend the undisputed once. So that means, Devin Haney would not be undisputed right now.
But not only that, I'm saying that you have to take it from champions. It's one thing that a guy wins a championship belt and then his very next fight he loses it. Well, he was a champion by right of holding the belt, but I don't consider him as a cemented champion. You didn't defend the castle. You didn't defend what you got off the other guy. You instantly lost it. If you can defend it at least once and then somebody takes it from you on the road to undisputed, I feel like that's acceptable. That person, if you go through that road where you beat champions that were proven champions to become undisputed, I don't see no reason that should hold you off of a list. That should make you, like some people say, a sure Hall of Famer. That should make you a sure pound for pounder.
It should, but there's only so many spots, though.
Yeah, and how often will that happen with that champion? So that right there classifies it as a special spot already, because it's not happening all the time. It's some criteria to that. That's the kind of thing I'm looking at. We're gonna put some criteria to it. You just can't stick this guy in there without him fulfilling these tasks.
Yeah, but I'll just throw this. I play devil's advocate. You think about and when Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather were 1 and 2, pretty much dominating the pound for pound list. One retired, Floyd retired, and Manny take it, and you have guys right there hovering around that were the same guys. But if somebody below those guys became undisputed in that day, I'm not talking about, because a lot's changed since then. And I know that ain't that long ago, but a lot's changed at how people look at boxing and stuff like that. A lot of it because of the YouTube era has grown. So much has grown on social media. So you just say, for instance, if Juan Baby Bull Diaz, he had 3 of the belts at, I think it was 135. And then, matter of fact, he lost them to Nate Campbell. But just say either one of those guys had became undisputed. And just say Pacquiao dropped his belt and moved up, and then one of those guys beat whoever won that belt and became undisputed. They may not even sniff out the pound for pound list at that time, even though they were good fighters, and really look good. But they wouldn't, and I just say Juan Diaz because he was an undefeated fighter at the time and he was a young phenom. But I don't see him even cracking the top 5 with the other guys that were there at that time. Because like the criteria just looked at so much different these days.
But here's why. Even though you mentioned that, you missed one of the parts in that criteria that I laid out. You said he fought for a vacated belt. And to me, that guy wouldn't make it.
No, he didn't. I was just saying that for example. I mean, let's say he won the belt off of, just say he won the last belt off David Diaz, who was established champion. That's who Pacquiao won it from. Just say he won the belt like that.
Okay.
I still don't think that's going to put him over Pacquiao and Floyd, even if they both had one title or no title at the time, because of what they'd already accomplished and because of the popularity behind their name and because of how good people thought they really were. But today, if that happened, he jumped suddenly up there to like number 3 on the pound list because, you know, he's a Mexican American. Or Mexican, whatever Mexican American, I think he's from Texas. So, you know, that and then being undisputed, popular fighter, he'd be up there on the pound for pound list. He probably would have been there with the 3 belts he had.
He probably would have been, but we not gonna put some of those things that you named as criteria. So
no, we wouldn't. I'm just saying. I'm just comparing it to the way the pound for pound list, the recognized or talked about pound for pound list or ran today.
Well, let me say this proudly right now. Whoever got the recognized pound for pound list, we're coming for you. We're coming with a real list, a list
with some credibility.
That's right, where you can't argue who's on there. You can try, but we're going to root it in fact.
Yep, and it's not going off no, who's the biggest draw, who put the most people in the seats. It ain't going off none of them little, pussy statistics. We're talking about real boxing here.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to stand on it. I'm going to stand on it. So, hey, with that being said, I'm going to hit y'all with We Stunting. Then I'm going to come back. We're going to close it out to the people. And D-Lo, we're going to, and social scientists, Hyphy, if you're more than welcome, we're going to have a talk about that list. So with that being said, here go We Stunting.
One, two, we got that heat for you. 3, 4, you really want more. 5, 6, dropping nothing but hits. 7, 8, wait. We gon' do it. 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 We gon' do it.
I hear they out there looking for me. Tell me where they at. Been out here for a second, man. I guess that was cap. Got myself a bag of flies. About to make a cake. Niggas talking about the jury, man. I'm on that really shit. They don't pop their pussy for niggas that they don't know. Got all the different spots. Pussy popping for show. Niggas getting upset and I can see it in their face. I'm in my chill mode. Don't make me have to catch your case.
1, 2, we got that heat for you. 3, 4, really want more. 5, 6, dropping nothing but hits. 7, 8, wait. We gon' do it. 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 They tell me I'm belligerent when I'm inebriated. I tell them that I'm calm, but they always want to debate it. I get hella faded and niggas act like they hate it. Puffin' pass, nigga, bitching about how they waited. I got my drink and smoke, I'm laid back, feeling elated. Looking in the sky where my pupils are dilated. Check my lotto numbers from earlier, cause I played it. Then I hear my song on the station. They got me know we made it. 1, 2, we got that heat for you. 3, 4, really want more. 5, 6, dropping nothing but hits. 7, 8, wait. We gon' do it. 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 I from the dirty south, yeah, we getting money too. Don't give a fuck about what these other motherfuckers do. I'm from a city that is wild as the fucking zoo. Houston, Texas, we ghetto boys and we bang too. Shout out to the south side and peace to the north too. Southwest, we in this bitch. Ain't what it do, I take off like a Houston Rocket. Got bros, not partners, all my little cousins. So choppers, I'm such a rock star. These hoes love me, instantly we start vibing. They see me being a full-time player, you just part-timing. I'm lit like a big more heat than a furnace. Light 'em up with the quickness like my big brother Ernest. Doing my thing, hit my Dougie on these niggas. Bubba Sparks, hell yeah, it's getting ugly for these niggas. I'm so Texas player parlaying on another level. Success is my best friend. I've been through setbacks and failures, and tell you those ass friends they can get it too. I'm on my grind, call state of the art, fool. Yeah, snap back on backwards on tilt, my nigga. I'm so cool. Flawless victory. Oh, tell them what it do. 1, 2, we got that heat for you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Wait. We gon' do it. 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 We gon' do it.
Let's say we stunned. So we back. You gentlemen want to go ahead and put it down?
All right, man. Glad to come through. Yeah, I ain't really got much to say. When the fight gets signed, y'all meet me at Marlowe's Corner High Noon. But go have that boy face looking like something out of cartoon. All right, we done.
What? Okay. He just took me by surprise. Okay, you got me with a good punch with that one. Oh my gosh. So, you got something to say, D-Lo, before we close?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. Chopping it up with y'all. You know what I'm saying? It's always good staying engaged with the chat, man. And catch y'all on the next one, man.
Hey, it's always a pleasure to have you here. Hi, you got something to bless us with.
Yeah, man. So this portion, which is the behind the scenes team, we just gonna call this, overtime. Sometimes after we get off these streams, we just go behind the scenes and talk about some stuff. So yeah, we about to go into overtime right now. We about to talk about all the gossip with all your favorite YouTube boxing channels. YTBC gossip. Let's do it.
Well, with that being said, I'm gonna say peace and blessings, and we out.